Would help if I unmuted myself. Thank you, Elle. It's been that kind of day. Okay, yes, awesome. Hi, Olivia at White Rabbit Journeys. What about now? Help if I unmuted myself. Okay, I think I hear myself now. Okay, good. Okay, thank you so much, Olivia. And thank you, Al. I really appreciate it. Let me be quick about getting you the information so that if you want to get on the list, you can. If you're new here, welcome. And this is your first time doing a live mini reading with me, this is the way it works. You make your payment on PayPal. Once you've made your payment, I will add you to my list. Once you're on my list, I read in order of first paid, first read. Do not leave the chat. I spend about 4 to 6 minutes-ish per read. There's a lot of information that can come through. The more specific you are with your single question, the more specific I can be with your answer. Got my tarot cards today, so I can pull some tarot for you as well if we have time and need a little extra clarification. But I'm going to be specific about when I do that so I don't take up too much time for everybody else who's on the list. I can read your chart. I won't be pulling counterparts charts, friends charts, parents charts, children's charts, your chart and your chart only. Once you've made your payment and you're on the list, if you leave, and if for some reason you're not here when I call your name, I will move you to the end of the list. And at the end of the list, that's when I will read you. Okay? Because it's just not fair to the people who stay and wait for me to just slot you in whenever you happen to come back. So, with that in mind, if you can stay and hang out while I go through the list, first paid is first read. Here is the payment information. It is through PayPal only. I don't take Venmo or any other type of payment. There it is. I am going to pin that to the top. Let me close out of the activity monitor, close out of notes, close out of Word, close out of Safari. Here we go. And move that to go away. Yep, it's USD, USD. My American accent requires me to pay my American rent in American dollars for sure. I wish it wasn't so, but maybe one day I will get up the gumption to relocate to France and then you can pay in euros. Um, there, the light was way too bright. But that aside, while people are deciding, I'm going to get on the list and when they want to do that, you can tell me how your full moon in Taurus is going. For me, it was really good. I've been loving the energy of the last several lunations. They've been clarifying, validating, confirming, like a lot of the things that I put into motion for manifestation back in February, March, April, and May are starting to show themselves in the third dimension now. And I love that. I am so here for that. It's really confirming to know like, wow, the stars really are on our side. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some things that have happened that have had me go, wait a minute, that's not what I asked for, only for me to be able to see like, oh, but that had to happen so that this could happen. And this, oh, I see how it all fits together. And it's just been this very validating period of feeling like, there is some sort of order to the whole thing. Um, Even if it has been like, ooh, if I could have made it easier, I would have, but I see why it's going the way it's going for sure. And so in that regard, I'm actually experiencing a lot of grace and gratitude at the moment. There's also some chickens who have come home to roost in this energy. I'm not gonna lie. Like there's, my own stuff that Saturn, Martha just mentioned Saturn. She could feel it turn direct the other day. Girl, me too. It was like all of a sudden, like I felt like gates open. I was like, what is this? And it was Saturn going direct. So yeah, that like some of my own chickens come home to roost, like trouble I got myself into, like things I had no business doing that I'm now in the rectification and cleanup process with my life, right? And it's like, okay, yeah, I see why this is my fingers are being held to the fire right now on this specifically. I see why I need to deal with this right now. Because if the rest of this manifestation is going to come to bear, then this thing that I created that has been a problem has to get resolved. Like I can't keep pretending like I can, make a mess, walk away, not have to clean it up, and that, there won't be consequences in my life. So, even if it was like a mess that it was like, I didn't know, I didn't have the tools or I didn't have the information or the resources to be able to do something a different way. It's specifically that kind of mess, which I'm in the middle of cleaning up now. And so could I say I'm faultless or blameless? Sure. That doesn't mean it's not my mess. Doesn't mean I don't have to clean it up. It's still my life. I still want things to go smooth. And this one is definitely something that is like Saturn, Big Daddy Saturn's like, baby girl, I love you and I want you to be whole. And this is undermining your wholeness. So we're going to clean this up together so that I can get you the rest of your manifestation. And it's just really like relieving to know that when I engage the planets engage me back. When I like show up, the planets show up for me. And it's just really, it's also very rewarding for me as an astrologer and a person, who believes in God, source, creator, Allah, like just a higher power, whatever you want to call it. It's also really rewarding for me to know that whatever energy set this universe in motion did not set it in motion against me. It set it in motion for me. And as long as I'm working with it, it's going to work with me. And that feels really good to see. So I love that. Amazing. Okay, so the first person is here. Let me go ahead and um just start my list. ZRA are the initials. So you are on the list. ZRA, this is what I need you to do. You're going to place your birth details in the chat as so. Um, Okay, that's how you do it. You're going to put your birth details in the chat. Give me your day, your month, and your year. Sorry, it should be month, day, and year. Since that's how we do it in the States. I don't want to get confused. Then give me the city, state, and country and the time. Give it to me all at once. Do not spread it out over 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different chats. As people come in and they chat me up and they talk to one another, I will miss your details. I really want to give you a good read. So type it out just the way I showed you. Keep your question brief because there's only so many characters here. I'm not taking questions over PayPal, going through people trying to find people's questions. It's too distracting, and I want to stay focused and keep the list moving for everyone who's coming in. So go ahead and type your question, your birth details for me, just like that. And you're first up. I'll read you next. While the RA, who I think is L, who just made their payment, adds their details, I am going to just check in here and see. Olivia says, I'd agree with some of those springtime manifestations coming in. It's been a challenging time, though. I'm feeling hermity and overstimulated. Yeah. And I think we all are. I got to be honest, like the tension of the tail end of this year is very high for us collectively because there's so much pressure to change. And that pressure lowers our bandwidth and capacity for shenanigans elsewhere in life, distractions. We need a lot more focus and to pull our energy in so that we're capable of being able to move forward. So it's well identified, Olivia. And if you're giving yourself that space to be in hermit mode, that overstimulation could really be a symbol of like, I'm just trying to hear what my guidance is. And because I'm now more open than I've ever been intuitively. So I can't be out here on social media taking in everyone's life story because it's too easy for me to take in too much of their energy in the process. If that's the case, Olivia, like do what you got to do. Like go in, grab that guidance. It is there for you. Utilize it. Olivia says, with midheaven and Scorpio in 10th house, I'm in an overhaul of my work life. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Okay, good for you. Kelsey says, I second Olivia, definitely feeling hermity. The energy has felt heavy and I've been feeling deeply sad. Yeah, lots of loss energy in the air because we are collectively, we're losing a way of life. This full moon marks the closure of a set of values collectively. It marks the closure of a set, like a lifestyle collectively. So the more you like, if there's grief energy in this for you, like let yourself purge and release, purge and release, purge and release. Hey, Al, just waiting on your question. Keep it brief. Thank you, Zelia, who is also L. Just post your question. Okay. Um, Olivia says, thank you for sharing, Kate. Yeah, you're so welcome, Olivia. Martha says, I'm also feeling hermity and driven to clear out and declare my home. Same, Martha. You and I must have maybe some similar placements in our charts because I have been in like a spree of like stocking up on like certain like canned or jarred goods or getting rid of certain things that I'm like no longer using, like cleaning out my closets, cleaning out my pantry, really focused on like, okay, this next chapter, here's my goals, and here's what I need to really focus on. And so for me to focus on that, I've got to get this junk and clutter out of my financial life, out of my emotional life, out of my literal closets in my house, out of my drawers, like, because I know that going forward, I'm going to be doing this and not that because the decision got made that I need to switch it up and go in this other direction. So, yeah, definitely a big piece of what we're up to right now. Okay. The list is open. I'm just waiting on the first person to give me their question so that I can start reading. But since Zelia is not giving me her question, um, until that question's in the chat, I'm gonna move on to the next person. Who would like to go next for their mini reading? Let's just see. Olivia White Rabbit Journey says, grieving the end of a collective way. Yeah, a collective way of life or collective value set. Giving me goosebumps. Yeah, Olivia, I mean, that's typically what it is. There is, because Taurus, this full moon is in Taurus, and Taurus is about values. There is some level, because there's a full moon, which is closure, and then we had double ending energy from Pluto and Ceres speaking to this full moon in Taurus in a square position. Yeah, there's double completion here. there's like a definitive end of one chapter and a definitive beginning of a new chapter. That's as we get into the new moon in Sagittarius, it gains speed. So, thank you so much, Zelia, for sharing your question and your birth details. The list is open, so if you'd like to get on it, you actually can. So, and thanks everyone who's decided to join and get it and soak up the vibes. If you have like collective questions, I'll answer them and sprinkle answers in as we move through the quiet times while we are reading today. I know this was like super last minute. Normally, I give people like a 24-hour heads up when I'm about to do live mini readings. So let me share a screen. This time I was like, let me just go live and see what happens. And let's see. Okay, Elle is born in Canada. Trying to get this. There we go. Toronto. 12. 12. Happy birthday. Hope you have a good birthday this year. It's awesome. 7:30 and 8, so we'll just split the difference and say 7:45 a.m. 12/12/73, 7:45, Toronto, Canada. Let's get it. Okay, so Elle says, and let me set the timer so I don't wander off into the distance. And if you want to get on the list is open. Would be happy to read for you. I'm going to pull some tarot, and I'm also going to do a live mini reading for you. So let me go ahead and set the timer. Okay, Els asks, when can I expect to leave my current job for one more fulfilling? That is a great question. Let's pull up the transits here. It looks like your midheaven is governed by Libra. Libra is Venus governed, and so I'm going to check your natal Venus. Libra is also governed by Juno, so I'm going to check transits to your natal Juno. Got early degrees Capricorn and Aquarius for both of those. I would say because we have Pluto jumping into Aquarius literally like within a week, I wouldn't be surprised if if you really got like the urge next week going forward to be like, I'm out, I'm over it, I don't want to be here anymore. And you just quit. Like you might just like up and like be like, I'm not doing this no more, I'm out. Simultaneously, I would say next week, as Pluto jumps into Aquarius, there is a full on beginning or opening of say about an 8-month window that extends through July, where Pluto's going to move signs, Neptune is going to move signs, Uranus will move signs, Jupiter will move signs. Kind of all within like back-to-back windows of one another. As this happens, Uranus is going to activate your natal Venus. Neptune will activate your natal Venus. And when these two in particular activate, if you haven't already made the decision to go, it looks like something could happen that makes the decision for you, Elle. And so I would encourage you to begin the process if you haven't already of like starting to look. It sounds like you may have already started to look, but I feel like you're going to start to see some momentum, especially now that Saturn is direct. Saturn governs your financial sector, where you may have run into people who said they were hiring only to have to pause their hiring process as Saturn was retrograde. Now's a really great time to reach back out to those organizations and say, hey, just wanted to follow up. Really curious about your company. I felt like I really connected with your mission and what you want to provide to customers and clients. I'd love to learn more about openings in future positions and stay in touch. Do you have time to reconnect at some point before we close the year? and just give yourself that opportunity to follow up with them and say like, "Hey, I'm still on the radar," because I feel like with Pluto switching out of Aquarius or switching out of Capricorn and into Aquarius and Saturn now going direct, the governor here of your house of earned income is going to make it possible for money to flow again in companies you may have been interviewing at in the past, but it's also going to open up cash flow for companies to hire you that you're going to interview at in the future. So, really exciting. Definitely keep your foot on the gas here. Don't let up because of the holidays. If you can stay focused, I do feel like both your legwork on follow through, especially because of the Mars retrograde. Mars is the late ruler of the house of career, early ruler of the house of wish fulfillment, and Pluto stepping into a new sign. Like literal opportunities could fall into your lap that feel like they've come out of nowhere before we close the year, allowing you to give that 2, 3, 4, 5 week notice at your current job. Take 2 weeks off and then have a little buffer. Just say, "Okay, great. I can start in 7 weeks or 8 weeks. I need to give my job like a month or a month and a half notice. Take 2 weeks for yourself to reorganize your life. Hit that new job running in the new year." But it does look like there really could be some opportunity that comes from the past or a place you've already interviewed specifically just through your legwork and follow up over the course of the Mars retrograde, now that Pluto and Saturn are both moving direct and opening up flow in your financial sector. The latest I would see a job coming your way would be like, oh God, girl, like spring, like if you're in the northern hemisphere, spring, that would be sometime. Um, April, May, June, but that would be the latest. I honestly think there's room and opportunity if you're willing to put in the elbow grease and legwork, there's room and opportunity like in the next 60 days. So take advantage of this Mars retrograde period. Definitely do a lot of follow up from places that you felt like you really vibed with, where you got an interview, where you made that personal connection, or even places where you looked at the site and said to yourself, "Oh, wow, I got to work at this job." If you looked at Glassdoor, you liked what you saw, and it was like all green lights for you, follow up with that company now. It does look like there could be some movement and momentum as we close out this year into the first month of next year for you. All right. So thank you so much for going first and being the first person on the list. The list is open. And now, whoever's here, you kind of have a sense of how it all works and how I read. If you would like to ask a question, you can certainly jump on the list. Payment instructions are up at the top. Since nobody's on the list just yet, I'm gonna go ahead and pull a I'm gonna pull a card for you. Timing is best done with astrology, but I want to get since we have a little time here, I want to go ahead and give you a little bit of tarot while other people sign up to the list. I'm gonna give you a little bit of tarot. And I'm also going to just share this live mini reading with the main YouTube channel. And anyone who wants to come over from the main YouTube channel can do so. I love doing live mini readings with y'all. Y'all are so much fun. How else has your full moon in Taurus been, guys? Has anyone else noticed anything interesting, unique, or different about their full moon in Taurus? Really curious about your experiences, and hang tight, Z. I'm going to get my tarot deck and just see what other intel we could get for you. Just link this over on my main channel. Channel. and community. Okay, well, we left that there. There that is. Cool. Z, are you still here? Z says she's been applying for jobs. This is perfect. You're in the right place. I'm gonna see if the tarot wants to provide a little bit of a number for us. Since your question was a when question, I'm gonna see if the tarot is gonna provide a little bit more specifics. Okay. When can Elle expect to give notice at her job? When can Elle give notice at her job? There we go. Thank you. This is telling me, okay, I pulled Ace of Wands upright. This is giving me, I haven't had an interview yet. Okay, yeah. This is telling me that it could be anywhere from like 1 week to 1 month. I would say in that time frame is when you might find that something, like I said, it does look like it kind of comes out of nowhere for you. It doesn't look like it's the kind of thing that is like a long, lengthy process. If you've been applying, it looks like something has a lot of potential to just show up out of nowhere. Like I said, especially since Saturn is now direct and Pluto is literally in the next week going to jump into the second sign of your second house of earned income. I do think that you're going to see something show up that you didn't expect. Again, with Mars retrograde, I would say it'd be a really good idea to do some follow-up. Because sometimes people hire people during a retrograde, like a Saturn retrograde or a Pluto retrograde, only for those two planets to go direct and for them to realize that person isn't working out, and they either move them to a different role, or at the end of the trial period, they take that person and move them elsewhere. So what I would recommend or release them from the company, I would say follow up, because some of the roles you may have applied for may have opened back up again, and you may have been their second or third choice candidate, but they're just too distracted, as we all are, to re-look through the pile, and they just reposted and they're hoping somebody will come through. So I would go ahead and like really include your first choices from the places you've applied in as your next step for follow-up. Okay. Great, 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 great work. Thank you for going first, Celia. You'll have to let me know how that resonates and if that was helpful. Olivia at White Rabbit Journeys says, Kay, if you feel comfortable sharing, I'd love to know how your personal journey through a love activation is going, and thank you for your work. Been tuning in on and off since 2020. So Olivia, you probably have noticed that I do not share my personal journey on YouTube for really specific reasons. It doesn't help other people, especially now that the counterparts have met up in Aries. And that's the gateway and access point to union for all of us collectively going into the next union window. Now more than ever, people's journeys are so personal. And the last thing I want is for people to be comparing my progress or what I'm going through or what I've grown through to what they're going through and growing through, because my pathway is, at this point, it's ventured off, and so has yours. It's completely ventured off the collective storylines. like where I am at personally and what's happening for me personally in my connection and how things are unfolding, it are like it's I don't know anyone else in my private life who's also a twin who's having the same experience. In fact, I read for someone the other night who's a friend who's a twin, and looked at her stuff and channeled in her connection for her, only to see like something that I've never seen before. Like her and her counterpart had been doing like timeline work, which I'm not doing. Like that's not what we're up to, but it was definitive. It was a decision that the two of them had made together, that what they wanted to do was close out certain timelines and open up other ones to facilitate um, opportunities to come together down the road. And it had caused her, once they had finished their timeline work, to make a very specific life changing decision. Like I'm talking about completely life changing. That once they had finished the work, within 2 weeks, she had made the decision, and the decision wasn't even on her radar 4 weeks prior at all. But she was so worried that the decision she had made was gonna mess up her unit. I was like, nah, girl, this like I'm seeing your connection in spirit, and it's more solidified than I've ever seen it before. And it's because like the reason you made this life-changing decision was because of the way you and your person completed all this timeline work over the last 6 months. Like I said, I'm not doing no timeline work. That's not what I'm up to. I can see it, but I have no idea what that feels like. So I asked her, I was like, what's this been like? She's like, it's been exhausting. Like during the day, I'm a bit of a zombie. And that's exactly the timeline, like 6 months that I have been exhausted. I was like, oh, well, there you go. So all of that to say, um, it would really serve you to uh rather than looking for other people's examples or pathways or experiences, it's going to serve you to really have a look at like what is my connection showing me at this time? Like what is it that I'm being asked to tune in to focus on? Because I know somebody else in a different connection altogether, and they are like in so much separation, so much like non-communication, that she's like, I've put love completely on the shelf. Like I just don't know that it's for me in this entire lifetime. And I'm like, well, I don't know if that's true, but I understand how you arrived here. And this may be a necessary place for you to go through this period of death and closure to release everything that was, so that she can step into what's about to be. But that's not in the collective storyline in any capacity, and it's certainly not what I'm going through at all. So, really important, especially between now and 2028, to do what you can to unplug from as many other people's energies, storylines, agreements about what twin flames are going through in waves or any of that, and start to plug more directly into what's going on in your connection. Because the one thing I can say that is happening collectively for twins is that our connections are pushing from the fifth dimension through the fourth and into the third, and pulling the third dimension through the fourth into alignment with what's there in the fifth. There is this collapsing of the fourth dimension, which has actually been ongoing for a while, so that what's available to experience at these higher level realms can be like seen, tasted, touched through our lived experience. They're like that separation between 3 and 5 is not how we're supposed to live. That's a function of separation consciousness. That's not a function of unity consciousness. And so this thing where people are like, oh yeah, I've got a 5D connection. We're in 5D union and I'm okay with just that. I don't want anything else. What else is going like that's not that one thing I can absolutely say in the collective. Yes. Are there people who are going to go that direction? Absolutely. But like this is how my guides put it to me. The amount of work it took to get both spirits into bodies in the same dimension at the roughly enough the same time for y'all to be roughly close enough, either in belief system, age, race, culture, identity, or physical proximity, for y'all to want to even look in each other's direction. And then the things we had to do to guarantee the meeting, whether it was online and we had to pull algorithmic strings and like evoke an interest in something obscure like playing Rubik's Cube third dimensionally with people on an app and a phone, or pull strings to give you an interest in an obscure type of class and that this person might be interested in, so we could line up y'all being in the same place at the same time to even have a meeting. We did not set this up for you to have some sort of fifth dimensional connection and that be it. That's not what this was about. Like there is active experience of love emanating and radiating off of both of you in the third dimension that is a beacon point for other people that resets definitions of love, connection, commitment, marriage here on earth while you're in the land of the living. So this sort of habituation to separation that has become very commonplace in twin flame narratives, it's a function of that sort of like, I got to the point where I was off the collective map, but I don't know what to do next. So I guess I'm just going to give it up, surrender, leave it all up to divine timing, do nothing, and just settle into 5D union with nothing happening into 3D. It's just, that is one thing they have made clear to me. They're like, yeah, that's not, was never the intention. We worked too hard for this. Now it's your job, your turn to put in the work. So all of that to say, we're in this season where the movement of union is just so personal for people. So like individualized, so unique. What's going to be asked of you is it's just not going to be what's asked of me, and so on and so forth. So, um, to you, what you want to do with that. But yeah, I would be intentional about really kind of guarding your eye and ear gates from other people's stories and not trying to glean from other people's stories to help you center yourself in your story or source truth about your story. And one of the other things I will say about this is that you, me, all of us, one of the things that has been happening since 2012, since, the ascension process really began for us collectively as humans, one of the things that has unfolded is our consciousness has expanded greatly. And there's definitely an acceleration of that 2020 and onwards. You see a lot more people coming into their intuitive gifts. You see a lot more people coming into their spiritual gifts and knowing and their divinity templates while they're incarnate here on earth. Like a lot of supernatural abilities, we're starting to see them, and people are turning toward, how do I unlock that for myself now in real time? And so with that comes your own divine knowing. And it's really important, I would say, to pay attention to where truth resonates for you. That inner compass, that inner discernment that says to you, yeah, that's for me. No, that's not for me. Because in this thing that's unfolding with twins now, especially between now and 2027 and 2028, in this moment, there are a lot of unions that are going to take place. I was shown that there would be a lot of, and I mean unions like marriages, not this fifth dimensional complacency of spiritual union. I'm talking about like people in the third dimension literally having their connection come into a format we would recognize as relationship, romantic partnership. I was told 2027 in particular would be a really big year, but this time period right now, where the connections are pushing into the third dimension for manifestation, um, you will see a lot of people come to the forefront and say, I got union and this is how I got it. I got union and this is what I did, and this is the formula and this is the path. If that thing that happened for them does not resonate as absolute truth for you, don't try to force it to fit. You're going to have your thing. You're going to have your pathway. And it'll be really important to not make somebody else's journey or story or life stream more, the volume on that more valuable or validating than yours, or try to map yours to theirs. So I really appreciate that beautiful question, Olivia. Thank you for allowing me to provide such an extensive answer with such detail, because that's information that I've piecemealed out to you guys over the course of, if you're on my private list and you watch the YouTube channels regularly, um then you know that this is kind of where it's at if you've been with me for a while. But your question allowed me to really summarize it for people collectively, in this moment, in a way that may help you understand why you may feel either confused or off your known map, or like what's happening doesn't make sense, or maybe what's happening in your connection is disorienting, or you can't find anything else like it, even among your other twin flame friends, right? Whatever that is, it's because as these connections come into the third dimension, they're no longer operating in collective systems. Okay. So thanks for the folks who just joined. I'm K Moon, if you're new. I am doing one question, one chart mini readings. You can make your payment, jump on the PayPal, or jump on the list through that PayPal link. I just did a reading for Elle and answered one of the collective questions from one of the members of the chat. Would love to read for you. I'm also pulling tarot tonight, so I've got my cards here to add some clarification for your question. And I'd love to read for you. This was sort of last minute. Normally, I give folks on my private list like a 24-hour heads up. I didn't do that today. I was just like, I'm going to be live after the premiere. So if anybody wants to join, you can. But I'm really here because the November calendar sold out so fast. And it's also a short month because of the holiday. And December will also go equally quickly. So I wanted to just make myself available for folks who are like, yeah, I can't meet on Friday, or I would love to get a read. Now's the time. Just bring me your question and I will give you some in-depth insight while we are here. And while people are making their payment who've just joined, if anyone else has a collective question that I can answer about things you're seeing or experiencing, or if you got a question for my guidance team, you want to get a channeled message about what's going on, then hey, now's a good time to ask. I am absolutely here for it. Let me know. Olivia says, Elle says, Olivia says, thank you for that great answer. Elle says, it was helpful, thank you. And she's in separation and she releases it or they release it. Let's see. Olivia says, damn, what a cosmic answer with the timing setup. I know, right? When they showed it to me like that, like, ma'am, we did not go through all of that just so you could be out here giving up. I was like, okay, well then what am I supposed to do? And so, when I really landed at not giving up, then hey, things started to move. So for me in a very specific way. But for some people, like really getting to that process of complete giving up and walking away may be part of maybe part of their path. Um, Martha says the bird's eye view is so helpful. Okay, you're very welcome. Glad it was helpful. If you're just joining, just make your payment. I would love to read for you. Um, But like I said, this was very last minute. So, for some reason you just like, you don't really have time or can't join. That's totally fine. We are doing tarot and astro. I'm at a bit of a break moment, but you would be next. The list is not long and the list is open. So if you would like to jump on it, I would be more than happy to read for you. And if anybody has like just collective questions like that one we just had, I'm happy to answer those too. UC1308, all rights reserved. What's the heaviness of this full moon yesterday? If you answered this in your recordings earlier, my apologies. I did UCC 1308, all rights reserved. I did answer this. I spoke, and not just this full moon, yes, yesterday is linked to the what you will call it, new moon in Scorpio 2 weeks ago. The planetary configurations are actually quite similar in terms of which planets are speaking to the new and the full moon. So it allows an energy of a carryover of transformation and growth. So, I mean, if you want me to look at the heaviness for you personally, I would say this is a great time to jump on the list. Let me do a mini reading for you. But in terms of what was going on collectively, definitely already spoke about that at length for like an hour and 45 minutes in two different readings, the light worker update and the twin flame update. You're so welcome. I love doing what I get to do, and it's you guys who make it possible for me. So hey, like I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for y'all. I'd have to go do something else. But I really appreciate that there's value in this for you. I love that I get to do it. I love that it's, because it's interesting for me. I feel like I get to utilize a part of myself that is definitely a gift to me. So I'm glad that it is a gift for you as well. And let me just see. Got my tarot deck here. Does anybody have any questions for the collective separate from that? Um, I'll listen as soon as you end here. Thank you. Yeah, okay, no problem. Um, awesome. So Elle has another question. Okay. Yes, yes. Definitely possible. Really grateful that you wanted me to have a look. I'm honored. Be happy to have a look for you. Um, your PayPal link's not working for you. KB, thank you for saying so. Let's see. Let me find my PayPal link and try it again. L, it did work for L, but KB, try that and see if it helps. See if that one works. Uh, okay, so L's next. I'm going to do L's second question. And then after L, it would be you. If you would like to get on the list, just use that PayPal link to send your payment. And then I'll read your chart and your question and do a little tarot for you as well. Okay. Doing tarot and astro tonight, a little last minute. I didn't send out the usual 24-hour heads up. But if you'd like a question, if you'd like to ask a question, I'd be happy to answer for you. All you need to do is just make your payment, $44.44, over at the PayPal link, and I will do your reading, tarot and astro. Okay. So we're just waiting on L to paste their question and birth details. Cool. Let me set up your chart so I don't save them. So let me just quickly, oh, wait, I didn't delete it either. Okay, so let me share screen. Cool. And set the timer. Okay. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Okay. L's question is, where's the energy or connection between me and my twin flame? Y'all are in no communication. Okay. That is going to be hard for me to ascertain with just your chart. Because usually to answer a question like that, I really need to see the other person's chart as well. And see your union chart, and I don't pull all three charts in a mini reading. It's like way too much work. I would need to do that in a relationship reading, but let me pull a little tarot and see what I can channel for you. Okay, Elle? And this is getting the prompt to use the Light Seers Tarot for you and your connections. Grab that. Okay. What I can tell based on the chart, though, is that with Jupiter opposite your sun, you are moving into a season that will open up some sort of flow, some sort of communication, some sort of potential for movement in your love life. Now, whether or not this is going to be your counterpart or not is really going to depend on you and that person, and whether or not the two of you want to be in some form of communication. Um, Yvonne, you would need to make a payment and jump on the list, and I can read the way the full moon is going to impact you personally, both tarot and astro. So feel free to make your payment, and I'll read you as soon as I'm done with Al. Where is Elle at in her twin flame connection? What's the energy behind the scenes that you want her to understand? Okay, so 3 cards came flying out all at the same time. The Magician upright, 3 of Pentacles reversed, 7 of Wands reversed. There does seem to be a level of like mutual manifestation of the connection. I'm also picking up that there's this sense of like, for both of you, there is this sense of like hesitation and fear and like, should I move on this? Should I not? Should I step? Like, there's this pregnant pause in the air where it does seem like both of you are willing, open somewhat to the connection itself. But this is reading like what I was talking about earlier, energy that's on the 5D that's not manifest in the third dimension for sure. Um, and when I say it looks like both of you are manifesting each other, it does look like that astrologically. It also looks like that from the cards that I pulled. With Jupiter jumping into the 7th, this is a once in 12-year movement of relationship expansion, growth, opportunity. The Magician upright is really talking about manifestation and calling this in. But that 3 of Pentacles reverse, 7 of Wands reverse is letting me know that there's some sort of hesitation when it comes to working together in the third dimension, even though there's openness to it. Like the gateway is open, but neither one of you is walking through the door. And so because of that, there is going to be a need for you to take some action. Going back to the astrology here, I think over the course of the Mercury retrograde, which will take place behind your sun in the sector that deals with intuition and insight, you're going to find that there is some revelation for you about what your 7th house of commitment and partnership needs from you in order to be able to move your connection forward. Your 7th house of commitment and partnership is governed by Mercury. So, Mercury retrogrades are great times for you to get insight into what does connection need, especially one in Sagittarius, because this is your intuition house. What I think you're also going to find, because Mercury is connected with divine masculine energy and transit in your chart opposite your sun, is that you may get some specific intuitive hits about your person and about the connection and where it's at above and beyond what I could reveal to you and tell you. But you may get some specific intuitive hits about where is the connection at, where is it going, and what does it need. It may show up in the dream state, Elle. So I want you to keep a recorder or a notebook nearby when you're sleeping and waking, because those revelations, they may seem unusual or uncanny or like they don't make any sense, but I promise you, if you listen and heed their guidance, you are going to find that there is some level of action or activity that you're supposed to be taking with Mars retrograde back into your 7th house. It's going to move this off of the 5th dimension and have you walk through the gateway on your side, which will then create a catalytic energy and invitation for your counterpart to do the same on their side. Vibrationally, I'm going to close out here. I will say that just spiritually, as I'm channeling your connection, I do see that there does need to be some level of forgiveness that needs to take place between both of you. There's some things that were said and done in whatever the last set of interactions were between the two of you, whether even if it was cordial and beautiful, whether it's just like, I need to forgive that he or she let all this space and time go by, or I need to forgive myself for the things I said and did, or vice versa. From like, as I'm looking at your connection spiritually, I'm seeing both on the other person's side and on your side, some level of forgiveness needs to unfold in order for there to be third dimensional movement. So, what you do with that's going to be you. Um, but with that in mind, something to consider is like, what is the intuitive guidance for where and how I need to work? Okay. There we go. So thank you for letting me read for you a second time. Again, Elle, you're gonna have to let me know how that resonated for you. But that's what I'm seeing as I'm looking at your connection and looking at the chart. Does look like you've entered a period of time where the gates are open for some sort of movement in the third dimension, but you and this person definitely have to walk through it. Okay. Yvonne says, oops, my apologies. I didn't read through all the details. I think I'd prefer a private reading at a later time. No problem, Yvonne. Happy to read for you later if that's how you're guided. I'm over at kmoonastro.com. Link is below this video. Okay, so really good stuff. If you would like to get on the list, you absolutely can. I am doing last minute, kind of impromptu live mini readings. The way to jump on the list is right above in this pinned comment here. You just click that PayPal link, and you would be next. Curious if what's her KB? Where is her handle? Yes. KB is still here. And if you still have a problem with the link, let me know. Nope, that answers my question. KB was just able to make their payment. So I'm going to be reading for KB next. Yeah, no problem, Yvonne. No problem. KB is an OG here. I've read for KB many times. Able to get the link to work. KB, what happened with the link? What did you have to do to get it to work? And yes, also let me know your birth details and your question. But yeah, I'd be very curious, like was it broken on my end at the top? Do I need to fix the way that it is in the pinned comment for it to work for people? Because if I do, just let me know and I will correct the pinned comment. And yes, I do need your birth details. I had to stop saving charts years ago because it was taking up too much room on my hard drive. It was your internet. Oh, okay, KB. No problem. Tonight I'm doing tarot and astro, a combination for these mini reads. So I will be pulling information from your chart and adding information from my tarot decks. So if you would like a mini read that includes both, the way to do it is to jump on the list. The way to jump on the list is in the pinned comment above. I'm setting up now to read for KB. I'm going to do a read for them, and then as soon as I'm done with KB, it would be your turn. And then I can read for you. 4:06 p.m., 5:24. Okay, Chicopee, Mass. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and dive in for KB. KB, let me know your question and we'll go from there. And if anybody else just wants to say, hey, welcome. It's good to have you here. If you have kind of general and collective questions, I will answer those. Okay, got it. He's with someone, so you let him be. Gotcha. Just put them in the chat. If you want to let me know how your full moon is going, put those in the chat. Lots of great discussion going on here so far already. We're just waiting on KB's question, and then I'll get started on her read. And go from there. KB, it's wild because as I was just shuffling my decks, both the Lovers and the Four of Wands wanted to show itself for you. Hey, Allison. Always great to see you. How does business look in the next few months? Great question. Let me set the timer and go. Um, okay, so something interesting unfolding in the next few months is for you in particular is this Mars retrograde in the 10th house. Now, because Mars is the governor of the sector of partnership and day-to-day work, we'd also see it as the governor here of the second house of earned income. It does look like there's some sort of review period or go back to something period that opens up, potentially with a business partner, but it could also be with a project that has you need to revisit, redo, specifically more redo, because Mars is about action, an interaction in the past for rectification in the present, especially with the governor of investments, governing your second house. KB, if I recall correctly, you have a startup, and you have to take investments. It does look like you may have a revisit or second opportunity with several of the with investors that you have spoken to before. You may also find that they ask for more information in terms of some sort of due diligence process that they need to do on their end. Co-founder for startup, yeah. Okay, so yeah, you may also with this, you may also find, interestingly enough, that one, and it's going to sound crazy, but somebody who may have worked with you in the past in the capacity of investor may show themselves now as wanting to be a business partner. Or an investment firm may say, hey, we really want to collaborate with you as a partner, but what we're really wanting to do, we want to give you money, but we also want to be in partnership. So that'll be something for you to investigate. It also looks like if you are at a breaking point in terms of finances in the business at this time, and you really need that investor money, you may need to approach some of them and say, make the deal sweeter by giving them, KB, I hate to say this for you, hon, because I know who and how you are, but you may find that you need to give them like more access, leverage, or control, like increasing the amount of investment for them and equity so that it's shaped more like a partnership rather than them just being at the investor level. But that also means it increases their level of responsibility to you and to the company, which would add a lot of wind in your sails. Either way, the Mars retrograde gives you the opportunity to go either back over um, people, places, people specifically that you may have considered for investment partners and co-founders in the past. It looks like some you take an action to review the options and the choices at this time. In taking that action to relook at those choices, have another conversation. Mars retrograde is temporary. So this speaks to the potential of having some level of temporary, like a trial period with someone to see, okay, could this work? And then structuring a lightweight kind of trial period um, for that unfoldment. Now, like I said, while I was shuffling the tarot for you, I did see in both decks, one deck showed me the lovers, the other one showed me the Four of Wands. I do feel like there is someone from the past that will show themselves during this time frame as the correct partner for you. In doing that, you will get the decision, and I would say, because it's Mars retrograde, I will say it will serve you to set up a trial period. Don't sign paperwork during Mars retrograde if you can avoid it. Let you and this person or this company and organization, there's the timer just went off. Let yourselves get your feet wet together and see. Yeah, so here I'm shuffling for the actual reading. We now see the Two of Wands upright. It does seem like somebody shows themselves as having the keys to what it is you're looking to build. Why am I? Yeah, I see the clarifier from the other deck, but okay. We'll do that. Clarifiers have arrived. And we see Three of Wands reverse, Knight of Cups reverse. Yes, I have two advisors with trial period either now. Yeah. Okay. Eight of Cups, bottom of the deck. This is telling me that, Yeah, that's interesting. Two of Wands, upright, Three of Wands, reversed, and then the Knight of Cups reversed. It does seem like as you move through this period of Mars retrograde, there will be some clarity at the end. Hey, MY, thanks for making your payment. You're going to be on the list next. Really appreciate it. We'll love to do your questions. So, MY, if you want to go ahead and get ready with your birth details and your question, just put them there in the chat for me. I'll read for you next, love. Thank you so much. Really looking forward to reading for you. And if you would like to get on the list, you can. List is open. After I finish with KB, I'll read MY. After MY, it would be your turn. The way to jump on the list is right here at the top where you see that pinned comment. Once you make your payment, that'll signal that I should read you next. But going back to UKB and finishing out the tarot portion of your read, I do see that at the end of this Mars retrograde period, it does look like two things are true. One, you have some clarity about what you need in a co-founder and what you don't need. Whatever this trial run is that you're doing, it looks like you set it up correctly to make sure that you're not getting the Knight of Cups when you need the King of Cups to show up in the business. Number one. Number two, it also looks like instead of multiple options, by the end of the trial period, you are clear about a singular option. The other person may still be in the picture, but you may put them in a role that's more like an employee. You may retain them as a subcontractor, but rather than moving forward with that person as the partner, that person takes a secondary role. It does look like by the time Mars retrograde is fully complete and out of shadow, and I believe I said that's May when it's out of shadow, that's when you'll have the final answer. It also looks like there will be a departure, at least one or two of the people, maybe just one of the people that you're interviewing for this role does take off, and you have some clarity about why it wasn't a match in light of their departure. But throughout this period, it does seem like movement. It does seem like a decision is forthcoming. But there's information, and I think that's the final message for you. There is information that's about to surface throughout this trial period that's going to show you who you need and why, and who's the best person and why. But yeah, sometime well before May, very likely in before February, when Mars is done retrograding, you're going to have your answer. You're going to know who it is. Okay. Um, you're very welcome, KB. Thank you for letting me read for you both the tarot and the astro. Love to do it. Glad it was accurate for you. And thank you, MY. Really grateful to be able to do a question for you. Awesome to see you here today. Okay. MY says, okay, Brooklyn, New York. And since there's only two Brooklyns in here, well, three, just gonna put you at Brooklyn Hospital, even if, because it's same time zone, so it'll still work. 11:26. Ooh, 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 somebody got a birthday in 10 days. Happy birthday. Don't make me sing because I can't do it. Okay, what time were you born, MY? Um, okay, got you. Financially, things very tight, wondering when it looks like the flow will open up. Great question. Um, birth time? As soon as I got that birth time, I'm going to read for MY. As soon as I'm done with MY, it looks like KK is on the list. Kelly. I'm going to do Kelly next. She says, sing, girl. Girl, you know I can't sing. You know it is not happening over here. I try, but it's not happening. 8 p.m. Thank you so much, lovely. I'm going to look at the finances for you now. And Okay, and then I'm going to read for Kelly after I finish with MY. Kelly, go ahead and get your question ready. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for letting me read for you. Okay, so I'm busy, Kay. I'm sorry. Kylie, do not apologize. It's okay, hon. Totally okay. Do not worry. Do what you need to do for you. Okay, so interestingly enough, because you have this Aries midheaven, and we have this Mars retrograde about to unfold here in this first house, there does seem to be something that comes back to you in the form of work or career, for financial gain. We also see Mars as governor of your fifth house of creativity. And so there does seem to be over the course of the Mars retrograde, so December 6th, February 23rd, we're already in the shadow period now. Shadow period and afterwards closes in May, somewhere in this entire period. And I want to say, as soon as Mars goes retrograde, to be honest with you, because Mars will go retrograde at the sixth degree of roughly the fifth or sixth degree of Leo, and that'll aspect the sun. The sun is the governor of your financial house. I want to say as soon as Mars goes retrograde, it's like you hear about something from the past that has the potential to make you money. Let me just confirm we're talking about December 6th. Let me get to the 6th. Yeah, there's Mars retrograde there at the 6th degree. Let me just check December 5th. Yeah, so it is the 6th. Mars retrograde at the 6th degree that is harmoniously aspecting your sun. It does look like that first or second week of December. Listen, it may be like it. I don't want to like tell you it's going to be a windfall because I see that coming. It's just not yet. There is windfall energy in your chart. But it's a ways away. You got at least this next year to go through, but then, mummy, there is bank on the way for you. So stay in gratitude, stay in appreciation, stay in the flow of like allowing. But it does look like this first week of December, second week of December, something from the past knocks on your door and says, hey, can you come work on this project creatively? Or we need you to do something. You may even have the idea entrepreneurially. I've done this, that, and the other before. Um, for I've done these things and I really would like to reinstitute because Mars is all about taking action, taking initiative. So you may find that Mars instigates for you as it goes retrograde, like, you know what? I need to take an action to bring money in from a past career thing, a past creative thing. I need to instigate bringing money in from the past into the present. Okay. But it does look like the first, second week of December, something opens up. You may need to initiate it. Okay. So let me get into the tarot portion of your reading. And then Kelly, I'm going to do you next. So Kelly, thank you for being on the list. If you would like to get your question ready, Kelly, and place it in the comment or in the chat, that would be perfect. And welcome, Summer. Great to have you. Shuffling now for MY's question about financial flow. When's it opening up? Tapping into it spiritually. Thank you, Kelly, for being ready. Love it. If you'd like to get on the list, you can. You would be after Kelly. The list is open. I'm doing tarot and astro tonight. Yeah, girl, wow. You're not kidding about your money being stuck. Oh my goodness. I asked about when the flow was going to come. And what came out was Ace of Swords, Ace of Wands, both of them reversed. And I see the Nine of Swords upright. This is letting me know that you have been like Oh, girl, like you have been in a position with this money not flowing. Like this has really kept you up. This has stressed you out. This has been a problem. Let me pull. I asked about when. The nine would be indicative of like 9 weeks. I also am aware, sis, you ain't got that long. If money is tight, tight, 9 weeks is like too long. But this is the number that's come out. With two wands showing themselves, this is giving me 1 week to 2 months. It does look like something could open up, but like I said, let me ask a different question instead of timing. Let me ask about your doingness. What can NY do that opens the financial flow? So we can put a little power back in your hands, NY. Let me ask that question. Okay. And I'm saying, being told to ask that from a different deck. Okay, the answers came right out. This time, Eight of Swords upright, Six of Pentacles. Wow. Okay, and this is something I'm seeing in spirit as well. Okay, this is more of a spiritual answer. Okay, and this is a lot of this is channeled and it is specific to you. So I'm going to give it to you as clearly as I can. There's a blockage in your energy field that you have created agreement with around stuckness. That agreement has been there for long enough for there to be, it's congealed into what you and I would call like stronghold energy. Another way to put that is you could say like there's a being in your space blocking flow because it's blocking you from feeling your own abundance. There's a place you've been to before, uh, and I've recommended that you go there to get, that kind of stuff removed. I'm going to recommend you do that again, just for like an energetic healing and cleansing. Um, do that again. That kind of that you need to hit a reset button on belief systems and what you're looking at in the exterior world, what you've got your attention on. Because in this Eight of Swords, the woman's looking in a mirror. But in the mirror, in life, in real life, she's not blindfolded. But when she's looking in the mirror, what she is seeing is limitation. She's seeing herself blindfolded, strung up by crows. She's not able to move. She's stuck. But in her actual lived life in this card, that's not her situation at all. But what I'm being shown here through this reading is that spiritually, you got too much agreement going on with being stuck. You have to drop that because you're actually not. There is some sort of action you could take, Mars retrograde, Mars action, that will allow something to open. Now, Six of Pentacles upright is the second card here as the clarifier. That Six of Pentacles upright does talk about giving in some format. Now, we all know if money's tight, it's like, give what? Give my exhale, give my oxygen, like give what? But this is actually something I remember I used to talk to with my ex-fiance about a lot. When we relocated together to a new city and money was tight because we both relocated at the time the economy crashed in 2008. And the abundance mindset my ex had and the one I had, they were just different. And so my ex would always get like literally constipated when money wouldn't flow. And it would stop them from being able to see opportunities. And I would remind them, you need to get in the flow of contribution one way or another. And so sometimes that would mean, just going outside, seeing people and saying a kind word, offering a compliment. Other times, it would mean volunteering somewhere. In your case, I know your volunteer situation. I'm gonna say don't do that. You need to not volunteer right now. But I will also say, it could mean like just being in a place where there's giving and receiving going on. One of the things I used to do when I was really working, and I still do this, but it's like I have to expand my comfort zone. one of the things I used to do is I used to go to very like ritzy places, like ritzy malls, and I would just be in the flow of giving and receiving there. Could I afford nothing there? Absolutely not. But would I observe and be up in proximity to people who could and soak up that auric energy? Abso-freaking-lutely, you bet I would. Absolutely. Window shopping, any of those kind of things that allow you to feel like you're in the flow of contribution of giving and receiving is this Six of Pentacles energy. And when things are given to you, gracious receiving, gratitude, even if it's the small things that God provides you with day to day, stay in that energy. It does look like it opens your eyes to where there's opportunity available right now in your third dimension to tide you over until that windfall comes. And why, thank you for letting me look. I really appreciate it. Let me go ahead and check the list really quick. And I really appreciate you letting me read for you. I know that's hard when money is tight, but I also know that when you stay in that flow does come back. So Danielle is also on the list. Hey, Danielle, welcome. You're welcome, MY. You are so very welcome. My absolute pleasure. Let me see. KB, no, I did KB, I did MY. Now we're going to do Kelly. Thank you so much. And again, welcome, Summer. Great to have you. This is my first time seeing you here. So lovely that you listen. Thank you. We're going to do Kelly now. Kelly is Greece. Hopefully some of maybe MY, you have to let me know. Did some of that resonate for you? Did it, did it catch anything for you? Greece. I know that maybe when, like, I see your birthday's coming, maybe somebody will gift you a little reading there. 3, 6, so we can go deeper on the topic and I could be more specific. 1983, 2:40 a.m. 3, 6, 83, 2:40 a.m. Kelly, okay, just making sure I got all them details. Thank you so much. Danielle, if you could just get ready. I'm gonna read you next, my love. And I'm doing tarot today for everybody, Danielle and Kelly. So I'm gonna use tarot to help answer your question. Go ahead, hit the timer. Yes, ma'am, it resonates. Okay, gotcha. Thanks. And I'm sorry it did resonate, but hopefully the action parts then resonate too and give you some, some flow information. All right, let me hit the timer for late lovely Kelly. I feel a strong pull to express my gifts through big changes within the alternative therapies. Right on, Kelly. What do you see for my career in 2025? Feels like it's a joint mission with my twin, like it's connected. Okay, cool. Let me hit the transit. Your career sector is governed by Juno and Venus. Natal Venus, natal Juno. Here's Juno, here's Venus. Interesting. Okay, so next year, what's going to show itself for you career-wise is, Courtney's on the list. Courtney B. As there you got a semi-sextile from Saturn and Neptune. Chiron will get out to the late degrees. Sunday's on the list. Late degrees of Aries and sextile. I think the thing that's going to be most impactful for you career-wise, and you've already been in this energy, but it ramps up in the early parts of next year, is Uranus square your Juno. You'll also see, when we're in this energy now, we see Jupiter sextile your natal Venus. Here's what this means. And you also see a Juno retrograde. Okay, this is going to be big. Kelly, I have this question for you. Have you done any alternative therapies in the past, either experientially that you now want to do as a practitioner, or have you been to school or thought about it before, or deployed it, practiced it before, and now you're going back to it, but you're planning to expand it? Because that's what I see here, especially over the course of the Juno and Venus retrogrades, since both of them govern the midheaven of your chart. Hey, Sunday, got your payment. This is the Uranian energy is going to expand your capacity to be able to deploy those spiritual gifts with alternative therapies. And so this is talking about you being able to take something that you perhaps already know. Okay, thank you, Kelly. That you perhaps already know or know how to do. And this is like Uranus taking it to a whole nother level. This is almost like Reiki on steroids, is what it looks like. Like, I know how to do Reiki, but then your spiritual gifts kick in and they start to guide you and show you, do it this way, operate that way, add this thing. I almost even see you doing some deep level of retrieval work from your spiritual self that allows you to like call in and channel in an alternative therapy that's completely your own, that you've made, that doesn't exist on the planet really yet, but it's like an up level to something that's in existence that you've already done, but it's like you are building your own thing with it. This continues as Uranus continues into Gemini next year. Jupiter continues into Gemini. The sixth house is where you do your own service work to the world. The combination here is really speaking about grabbing from the past, bringing it into the present, expanding on it for the purposes of career. I do want to say financially, this looks really good for you and the opening of a new financial future for you. Even though it may feel like you're wandering into the unknown, but it does look really, really good. I'm going to pull a few tarot cards for you to get a sense of, just what, how do career changes look next year for you, Kelly? While I'm working the tarot, the next person on the list is Danielle. Danielle, if you would be able to, if you would be willing to go ahead and do your thing, do your question in the chat, that would be great. Question in the chat. Yes, like groundbreaking changes, so many ideas. Write them down. Essentially, it almost looks, Kelly, like your training at whatever it is you're about to do is going to be it reminds me of the way I came into astrology. My known map of the world broke. I'm looking for that in your chart. Did that happen for you? No, not exactly that. But what I do see is like after I learned some astrology basics, my intuition kicked on, my clairaudience kicked in, and my guidance team sat me down and they said, you're going to read like this. This planet means this, that planet means that, this aspect and angle means this, trine means that, square means this, interpret it in this way, and then teach it to others. This looks like that for you, where you've got the foundation laid. Then after the foundation, what happens next is you have some level of up leveling that comes through your psychic gifts and whatever spiritual team and guides you and supports you. So career shuffling for you, how does it look? This page of cups in this deck is talking about like passion and ideas and ideation that's coming through the heart chakra. You may get some ideas that seem near impossible, but it's not. It's not impossible at all. So stay with it, work with it. Um, it is going to work for you. The three cards that came out, Page of Cup upright, the wheel reverse, Three of Pentacles upright. With the Page of Cups upright, this is, like I said, ideation in this deck, but it's coming through the heart chakra. And so whatever your love activation was that kind of has you even hanging out on my channel and in my world, some of why you have this gifting spiritually that you can now apply is because your heart chakra has expanded. We see the Wheel of Fortune reversed. In this particular deck, this is really talking about this being far more strategic rather than wild card based on what I'm seeing for you spiritually. You're going to be guided through a very specific process. And then the final card is the Three of Pentacles upright. There's going to be one or two people who really help solidify this thing for you in the third dimension, either because they're clients and they get so much result and there's breakthrough for them, or because they are colleagues and they feed your capacity to create this in the third dimension. But it does look like this for you. This is not a gamble. It is not chance. It is not, some level of luck. This is actually, you're stepping into a season of your life that's going to feel like, okay, yeah, this is what I came to Earth to do. And because of this, like, it's going to help your life get more stable. Bottom of the deck, that Four of Wands, you really are going to step into an era where you feel like you are your true self here with this, Kelly. So I'll love to see this for you. Congratulations. This is huge. Beautiful energy and a beautiful timing for it. Definitely take advantage of every piece of insight you get. When I first got my downloads about what was going on, when it came to astrology, I just popped open my notes in my phone. I started taking notes whenever the downloads would come in. But everything I took down in a matter of like 30-20 minutes one day, and then 30-20 minutes another day, and then another 20 to 30 minutes on a third day. It's been the foundation of every single thing you hear me read from in the lunar updates. It's the foundation of my classes, Star School 101, 201, and 301. It's the foundation of every reading I have done. And it's really laid a different pathway for me here on Earth. So whatever you're getting intuitively, do not sleep on it. Don't take it for granted. Record that stuff, okay? Because it's going to be your modality. You're welcome, Kelly, and good luck. Thank you so much to everyone who's on the list. I'm doing tarot and astro today, as you can see, with these live mini readings, giving you all that extra insight. A little bit of channeling, a little bit of tarot, a little bit of astro, giving y'all the whole enchilada in your mini read. I have just read for Danielle. I'm going to be reading for Sunday next. Who's Courtney? Is Sunday Courtney? Do I have that right? No. Sunday and Courtney. I don't know Sunday Courtney. I don't know Courtney Summer, but I do see Courtney after Danielle and then Sunday in that order. So I'm doing Danielle now, then Courtney, then Sunday. If you'd like to get on the list, you absolutely can. The way to do that is just send your payment over to the PayPal link that's pinned in this comment up above. Okay. Send that on over and you'll be on the list. Summer B is Courtney. Okay, got you. Thank you. Sounds good, Summer B. Thank you so much for clarifying. Let me just make a note here. Gotcha. Okay, so Danielle says she's St. Paul, Minnesota. My name is really Sunday. Okay, Sunday, got you. Very nice. And Danielle says her birthday is 7/25/1977. 7:55 p.m. St. Paul. 7:55 p.m. St. Paul. Got it. Okay. Here we go. Let's go ahead and do Danielle, hit the timer. What to do about my job? Stay or go? I've done a pro and con list. Can't decide what would be best. Thank you. Okay, so this Mars retrograde is going to clarify the answer for you in a way that it's like you're going to see the answer with crystal clarity. So your midheaven, your career sector is indeed governed by Pluto and Mars. Pluto's about to jump into new sign next week. Hooray! Finally, 20 years in Aquarius. It's going to be so nice, so transformative, and it's going to allow you to step into a new version of yourself. First house identity, Pluto transformation. You're going to be moved from caterpillar to butterfly in as Pluto moves and settles into Aquarius. As such, you may realize places, people, things you have done and been a part of, they no longer serve. You've outgrown them. Can't live in the cocoon, can't live in the caterpillar habitat because you're now a butterfly. Mars, joint ruler of Scorpio, goes retrograde here. Seventh house of partnership and commitment will back up into Cancer. It's going to retrograde over your sun, and it's going to, sorry, not your sun. Yes, your sun and just your sun. Okay, got it. They're so crunched up together there. It's hard for me to see. What's interesting about this is that Mars is going to start to have you reflecting on who you really are. And if your talents and gifts are used and appreciated the same way in equality or equity, the way other people's talents and gifts are used. And so because of that, you are going to that reflection process that you go through, which will be a little bit active. I got to be honest with you. It looks like it does come with a little bit of power struggle between you and some other people on the job. That power struggle does seem to complete. I don't want to tell you, but it's like May, June. So that's a long time to be in a power struggle with people. It does smooth out a little bit once we get into the thick of the Mars retrograde, only to kick right back up again when Mars starts to go direct. All of this is part of a bigger process for you where Pluto moving into Aquarius is signaling the end of a chapter in your career life, as Pluto is the governor of your career sector, and the beginning of a new chapter of your career life. Because Pluto, and this is for everyone who has a Scorpio midheaven is the career sector. When the planet that governs your career sector changes signs, it creates some level of transformation and change in your career. Pluto is the heaviest hitter, slowest mover of the entire planetary solar system. When Pluto changes signs, it's a big deal. This is when you start to see a complete ending, not just to a job, but also to a career path. And this is really the bigger question here for you, Danielle. Do you need to leave the job, or do you need a different career? Do you need to step into something that's more honoring of you and who you are and what you bring to the table than where you have situated yourself up into this point? As you begin this process of deeper clarification, as Pluto settles into Aquarius, Mars goes retrograde, that pro and con list is going to expand to invite you to look at, if I quit this career path altogether, where would I go? What would I do? Who would I need to be to step into something that's more aligned with who I really am? With Pluto stepping out of Capricorn in the first house, there is a definitive death and ending to who you've been, Danielle. And because there's that definitive death and ending to who you've been, everything propagated by that identity that you used to be will also die. Now, I've been through something similar to this. Pluto squared my sun a few years back in 2020. And when it did, everything I knew, everything I did, everything I was attached to. Like it was like overnight, I shed it like a snake skin. It just no longer fit. And that upset a few people. I gotta be honest. It like people were like, why can't you be the person you've always been? Well, you've never had Pluto square your sun. That's why. That's why this doesn't make sense to you. And that's why it's not going to make sense to you. But it's a process that I need to honor because it's mine. And so in your case, yeah, Kelly, go ahead. Go ahead, make your payment. Um, you can get a second question. In fact, there's been no payment in between. So it's gonna be back-to-back questions for you. So go for it. Um, or a second question for you. Go for it. So yeah, there is some level here for you of like, okay, I need to figure out based on who I am now, what is an appropriate way for me to live? It's like you've outgrown your shell, and now it's time to take residence in a new one. So it's a tender time, it's a sensitive time. It's a time where you may feel a little raw, a little vulnerable. But what I will say to you is that if you keep moving forward and asking yourself the questions, you're going to come to clarity. Let me pull these tarot cards for you about your should she stay, should she go? Give me one card about staying and one card about going for Danielle to clarify her path forward. One card for staying, Empress reversed. One card for going for Danielle. I mean, Empress reverse is not really it. Going is the hangman. Okay, I really see why you have this confusion. Hangman upright for going, Empress reverse for staying. So do I have to learn Spanish for a new job? I don't know, girl. Do you have to learn Spanish? I don't know what all your options are, but if that's what it takes, then that's what it takes. Empress reversed for your staying. I would say this is pretty clear. When the Empress is reversed, she's not able to do the thing that she was created to do, which is the fertility, the abundance, the flow, the divine capacity to receive. None of that is available to her when she is reversed. And so, with that in mind, I would say staying is emblematic of what we just talked about, how this stuff is for you. It's not serving, it's keeping you small. But going, at least you get a card upright. Now, it's the Hanged Man, which talks about needing to go within and look for some decisions and really get into a place of enlightenment. It also talks about releasing that which you previously had in your head about your path and what your life would look like, and getting into a place of being like, okay, so the truth is, I don't know, but not knowing and facing the not knowing as a truth is a lot better than facing the knowing that is sucky and living a lie. And so getting into that hanged man position is really going to open up the opportunity for you to get some illumination, clarity, and enlightenment about what is the correct path going forward for you. I really get it. Like, look, we all got bills to pay. Why you think I'm out here twerking tonight? The reality is, if you need to figure out your finances before you can go anywhere, do what you got to do. But the pathway here does seem clear astrologically and from the guidance from the tarot. The time has come, Danielle. It's just a matter of making the decisions about where you want to go next, even if you have to find some sort of bridge job, bridge gig, bridge doingness. This is really going to illuminate for you that time in between what the options are, because with the Empress reversed, there just are no options. It seems to be closing down your energy, closing down your consciousness, and trapping you in a cycle of being caught up in power struggles, to be really honest with you. When you leave, you liberate yourself from that. I know you've got the question, but liberate myself into what? You will get answers once your energy is less clogged by the problems existing in the current job. Do what you got to do to get into some sort of bridge gig. And then from there, I would say the illumination does seem to show itself for your best next option. And yeah, I mean, look, I've never had a job. I'm gonna be honest with you, Danielle, I never had a job where I didn't have to learn something. And if Spanish is all you have to learn, ooh, you'll pick it up. Go for it. Why not? It'll enhance your life. Learn the Spanish. Interesting, Empress in reverse. I've said many times I can't be so stressed when I get pregnant. I need to find a less toxic, negative environment. There you go. I think that told you more than it told me. Okay, thanks. Yes, killing my soul. Bring flowers to make myself less sad. Yeah, good. Okay, now that you know that this is not it, you gotta let it go, boo. You gotta let it go. It's time. Thank you, Danielle, for letting me read for you. Really appreciate that. Okay, now there is Courtney. We're gonna do Courtney, then Sunday W, Kelly B, and then Kelly K in that order. I find it so hard to Espanol. Courtney B, if you could place your birth details and your questions in the chat, that would be perfect. I think Courtney B says she's Summer B. Place your question and birth details in the chat, and then I'll do Courtney B next. Courtney B, Summer B, and then Sunday, you're going to be after Courtney B, Summer B, then Kelly B, and then Kelly K. Okay. 2 Kellys in the chat. Hey, it's the night of the Kellys. Okay, so if you'd like to jump on the list, you can. You would be what we call after Kelly K. Next. Would be honored to read for you this evening. Feel free to dive in, and we'll be off to the races. Jamaica Me Crazy says, thank you. I'll start saving more. You could save more, but you could also transition into a bridge job. It might cause you to live a little bit more tightly, but it'll buy you that mental space to be able to, what you call it, it'll buy you that mental space that you need to be able to, in your evenings, really in your weekends, not be so stressed and think about what you want to do next. Okay. Brooklyn. Since we don't have a whole bunch of Brooklyn options, I'm just going to pick Brooklyn Hospital. 8/18, 1976. 8:20 a.m. Let me just make sure I got it all. 8/18/76. 8:20 a.m. Okay, I do. Thank you for your patience. Danielle says, "Think you're the bestest I've been praying for a mini read." Girl, you got it. As when I started to see the calendar was moving as quickly as it was, I was like, okay, I got to do mini reads for my peeps because some of them aren't going to be able to get in if I don't. And I know people need to see their chart before the end of the year. Okay, so hey, Kim Mai, so great to see you. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Love to see you here, babes. Hope you're doing well. Let me set the timer for this lovely summer breeze. Okay. I've been really focused on my finances for the past year, but also feel the desire to find new love. Woo! Can I take my foot off the gas on my finances and start looking for a new love relationship? Great question. Let's find out. Well, let's see. We have the opportunity bringer showing up for a year-long stay in your career sector. So that's going to say that to me is very much about, look, the universe is trying to bless you financially. Presently square Venus and about to be square Juno, both joint rulers of the money house. And We have Saturn on its way to the love sector, which could make it a little bit more challenging. Pluto creating shakeups in the dating sector, which has you shedding skin like a snake when it comes to what you're even attracted to, what kind of person you want to be with. And then we have Uranus about to strike your moon. Okay, so here's the deal. Courtney, when it comes to your love life, part of why your attention is on love is because your picker, if we could call it that, the part of you that sorts potential mates, that part of you is shape shifting and transforming, and it is going through a revolution and transformation. In part, your picker is changing, in part because your self, who you are as a person, is changing pretty dynamically. Now, these changes have a lot to do with Uranus in trine to your chart ruler here, Mercury, and you stepping into a new era and chapter and season in your life. It's almost like when you get through with this transformation, I do see that you are going to look back at the kind of people you dated prior to this. When you're fully on the other side of this transformation, you're going to go, what was I thinking? Like what? Like I I can't I can't it's not that you can't fathom going back to that person. It's that you won't be able to fathom dating anyone like that remotely in the future. Not only that, but it also appears that you are going to choose people, be drawn to people, attracted to people, want to date people, be curious and interested in people who are unlike anything that's ever been on your radar. Most likely physically, financially, emotionally, in terms of, because your needs are about to so radically change when it comes to partnership that here's what I would say. You could start to focus on love right now, but you are going to you're already in the transformation. You're transforming so rapidly. If you met someone tomorrow, we're like, oh my God, I'm so in love. By January 25th, you'd be like, oh my God, I'm so annoyed. This is how fast you're changing. So I would say, because where opportunity growth and expansion is right now in your chart is Jupiter through your 10th house of career, making some aspects to your finance sector. I would say focus on money a little while longer, but I would also say pay attention, pay very close attention to who you meet romantically, what they stir in you and what they don't, and compare it to who you used to be and what used to stir you and what no longer stirs you. Because this is showing me for you that there's just no way for you to, like, your train has left the station. It's just not at the destination in terms of who you're about to be when it comes to love. Because your the shape of your puzzle piece is changing. The shape of who you can connect to is also changing. Okay. So try it if you want to, but your career is also about to take off. There's promotion, there's money, there's visibility, and there's new responsibility. So I don't know if you're going to have time, is the other thing. So, okay, let me actually ask the question, but thank you for showing me. What is Courtney's question? Focused on finances for the past year. Can she take her foot off the gas? What's in store for her love life? What's in store for Summer's love life? Interesting. What else is in store for Summer's love life? Courtney's love life. What's in Courtney's love life? What's coming forward for her? Yeah. Okay. So interestingly enough, the card that popped out before I even asked the question was the Eight of Cups reversed. When I ask the question, it's Three of Cups upright and the Seven of Wands upright. This is telling me that there's something from your past you're just not quite done with yet. You do have some good times and flirty connections ahead in love, but I also see your heart is guarded. Um, and I see you're going to have a tough time with time and priorities and decisions. I do see with the Seven of Wands upright, there's just demands coming to you from every angle in the next season with work. And so as much as you want to focus on love, when I do see the planet that deals with love, or not love, deals with expansion and opportunity starting to move in your love life, it looks like you have solidly placed your career on another level so that there's room and spaciousness and time to focus on love. But without all these demands from work, making you feel like you're torn apart in two different directions and potentially causing a lover to feel neglected while you're heavily evolving and outgrowing people left, right, front, and center as you come into this next stage of your life. So I would say just a little while longer, but if you're dating, continue to date, pay attention because this is the period of time in which you're going to be able to see, wow, I really am a different person. Get your feet wet, give yourself permission to look and see, wow, what's out here for me that previously was not on my menu that I now can jump into, can see if it fits for me. Sunday. Thank you so much for being ready. I love that when my peoples are ready. After I do Sunday, I'm going to do Kelly B, then Kelly K. If you want to get on the list, you can definitely do that. Way to do so is to make your payment here through that pinned comment. There's a PayPal link there. After I do Kelly B and Kelly K, it would be your turn. You would be next. I'm doing tarot and astro to give y'all that little extra insight, doing a little bit of channeling here too, where channeled messages are coming through. If it resonates, definitely let me know. Let me know, Courtney Summer, how that resonated for you. Totally resonates with me. Okay, cool. Glad it resonated. But yeah, give yourself that space, that time, that freedom and permission, Courtney, to just like get your feet wet, but don't try to jump in just yet because it looks like whatever you jump into, you're gonna have to jump right out of by the time we get to spring because you're in a period of hyper growth. Let's talk to Sunday now. Sunday was born in California. In Oakland, 2468, 7:46 a.m. February 4th, 68, 7:46. Okay, cool. I got it. Let me set the timer. Sunday asks, I love me more than ever. Hey, we love to hear it. So I think I'm ready for a relationship. Is one on the horizon? Juicy. Let's find out. Sunday wants to know if there's a relationship on the horizon. Governor of the relationship sector is Leo. Governor of Leo is the sun. We're looking for transits to the sun that bring opportunity and expansion. First check is always Jupiter. The answer is absolutely yes, baby girl. You've been in a period that could facilitate relationships since the late spring. What's happening? Like, have you not early summer? Like, have you met no one? Let me see what's going on with your moon. Why are you not doing it? Okay, we have Saturn transit the first house and Saturn preparing to transit moon. I see why there's a little bit of delay. Okay, so the answer is yes. There is absolutely an opportunity on its way. I also want to prepare you that during the Juno retrograde next year and the full retrograde period, shadow retrograde and post shadow is an 11-month period of time. She's going to be retrograde in the 9th sector from your horizon. This is second marriages. You could read it as second chances if you want to, but this is an opportunity and period of time because Juno is the partnership and marriage asteroid. You could see somebody come back from the past, do a little dance with them, see if y'all still want it, if y'all still got it. What's interesting about this is that as Jupiter takes off next year into the remainder of Gemini, early degrees of Cancer, it's going to sextile your moon. It will no longer talk to your sun. What will talk to your sun will be this Juno retrograde and this Venus retrograde next year. I would say, for you, Sunday, I know it's probably the last thing you want to hear. Your intuition is absolutely on point. There is some potential for you to have relationship on the horizon. I see it strongly here, but the thing I'm also seeing strongly is it's very likely someone you've already danced with in the past. Now, if you want that, great. If you don't, next year looks like it might be a little quiet. If you are curious and have a lot of buts, it lets you know that you have a lot of forgiveness to do. When we really forgive someone, we erase, we complete. We are no longer feeling owed by the circumstance. We are no longer feeling like that went so poorly before. Life, the universe, the other person owes me something in the future. We can walk into the thing with a clean slate, an open heart, and an open mind, trusting that since I've grown, they've had to grow. I'm willing to see who they have grown into and if I'm attracted to who they are now. That's a clean slate. If you're still holding on to, but they did, and then they said, and then it went this way, and it hurt, and but they can't do this, and past, 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 projected all over the present. I would skip it. I would skip it. If you cannot let go of the past because it just hurt too much, that's okay. Forgive and allow the space to be your peace. It's okay to walk away and let it go. But this to me looks heavily like some sort of second chance, second dance with someone from the past. Let's take a look at the tarot, see what it has to say. There's my timer. Okay, Moon for staying on time, starting the tarot portion on time. Let's talk about this tarot portion. Sunday loves herself and she's ready for someone to love her. We love to see it, Sunday. Is a relationship on the horizon? What should she expect from the relationship on the horizon? One more shuffle. Ooh, child. In the split, there's the world and the lovers. Girl, yeah, this is somebody you know already who wants to dance with you. Let's see. Have you been having any dreams or any thoughts about somebody from your past? Has anyone come sniffing around your tree yet? Because if not, they're coming. What's on store in love for Sunday? Tell me what's coming for Sunday in love so she can know how to prepare her heart and her mind. Three of Wands reversed. Queen of Swords reversed. Bottom of the deck, Knight of Pentacles reversed. Well, 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 Sunday. Three of Wands reversed. What you were waiting for, you are no longer going to be waiting on. Queen of Swords reversed, where there has been harshness, or not harshness, where there has been some level of trying to engage from the head. It looks like that's done too. You're ready to engage from the heart. Knight of Pentacles reversed. If this person comes back from the past, and in the past it's been stuck, yeah, I see bottom of that, Hangman. Yeah, it just doesn't look like it's stuck anymore. It's going to move. But you got to be ready to move with it, is what this is telling me. You got to come off the shore and put your surfboard in the water and be ready to ride some waves. I'm not saying it's going to be smooth, not with that Three of Wands reversed, but I am saying that tide is coming in and there's opportunity here for you to get out on the water and really do your thing. If you can follow the lead of your heart, like I said, whatever the forgiveness work is that I had mentioned earlier, it does look like you've already engaged in a process of that, where you have really started to already examine what was my part, what was their part, even if it's not somebody specifically from your past, but somebody who is so like someone from your past. When these retrogrades hit, this is talking more directly about you being in such a different place that there's no possible way that it could go the way it went before, because you will never not know what you learned from that experience. And because you're different, the experience will absolutely go in a different direction. And that's really all it takes. But yeah, if it is a specific person who comes knocking in the spring, this Knight of Pentacles reverse is letting me know if they come knocking, it's moving. It's not gonna be stuck. Not a bit. In fact, I'm just looking at the wall now so I can see the energy. There is someone, you've been heavily on someone's mind Sunday. There is someone who's been thinking about you, reminiscing, doing a lot of review. Whatever it was that had y'all need to take some time apart, the place that person finds them in now is having had the memories cleansed, and they're in the nostalgia place, and they're having a look at the good times and the good things and the things they appreciated. It does seem like they're contemplating some sort of holiday reach out, like a, oh, happy holidays or whatever, just to, test the water. Um, but there's a softness in their energy concerning you. And it's actually more than one person. There's a second person here who's a little bit further away from your field, but the person that I'm speaking about now is close in proximity to your field. Now, I don't mean they live near you. I'm talking about like they're manifesting you through all this thinking about you and remembering and good feelings. They're conjuring about you. They're actively manifesting you. So expect to hear from somebody by the spring, if not one or two, if not two people, at least one. You get to decide what you're going to do. Let me come in the chat and see what you had to say. Who was next on the list? That was Sunday. Kelly B's, KB's, you're next. If you could go ahead and drop your question, that would be great. Let me see what Sunday has to say here. I love that emoji combination. The falling leaf, the orange heart. That's really cute. KB's. Thank you. Oh, thank you, KB's, for being ready. I love it. Let me go ahead and set up Kelly B's chart. After Kelly B, I'm going to do Kelly K and then Julia in that order. If you'd like to get on the list, you can. List is fairly short. Doing some tarot, some astro, and some channeling tonight for folks. If you would like to, let me read for you, I'd be honored. The way to jump on the list is to make your payment at the PayPal link pinned in that comment up above. Once you've done that, you'll be on the list. You'll be right after Julia. I'm reading for Kelly B now, then Kelly K, then Julia, and then you. Let's see what else is going on here. Sunday says, I don't have any attraction to my past lover, so you'll have to be different than what he was. Yeah, okay. Well, you got to be different too. It takes two to tango. Let's see what's going on for our lovely Kelly B. You're welcome, Sunday. You're very welcome. New Hampshire, Indiana. Okay. Hang on. Plymouth, Indiana. Two, 21, 1981. 1, 52 a.m. Plymouth, Indiana, 2:21:81, 1:52 a.m. Kelly, give me 1 second. I need to go grab my water. Throat's getting a little dry. Love to stay hydrated. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Kelly B wants to know, let me set the timer. How does the family look? I just began a business and there are a lot of dynamic changes happening right now. Please, a heads up about what the next year brings. Okay, you asked about family, 2025 and what's in store, and you asked about business. Mommy, that's like too many things for me to cover in a mini reading. um, the first thing you asked about was family, so I'm going to assume that that's the most important thing to you since it was the first thing you asked about. Family's here, fourth house. You're born in 81. Okay. So, do you have kids? Because that would be fifth house. Siblings are the third house. Oh my gosh, Kylie, welcome. Always great to see you. Hopefully you didn't rush and you got through everything you needed to. You took care of yourself. But if let me just reset with you, Kelly Bees. Kelly, what do you want me to focus on? Family, business, or changes in 2025, generally speaking? Let me know what you really want me to focus on. Let's reset. Give me an area, one area, and I will deliver for you. But I need to know where to focus so I know where to look. Kids and parents are in your care. Got it. Hopefully you did everything you needed to. Like I said, Kelly, you got some time to finish whatever you're up to, and you got some self-care and some self-love. Thanks for being here. Kylie is our moderator with the mostest. I want to call her the hostess with the mostest because Kylie directs traffic up in here, and it is so helpful. Thank you, Kylie. Really appreciate you. Um, okay, so you want me to focus on family. You got kids and parents in your care, so you're in that sandwich. Okay, let me reset my timer for you, lovely. Thank you for being more specific for me. Okay, so Kelly, here we go with Pisces there in your fourth house governor. Then we have Neptune. Then we have Jupiter as rulers. Neptune at the 24th degree Sag, Jupiter at the 9th degree Libra. Nothing coming for the 9th degree except for a Jupiter square Jupiter next year. Nothing coming, but there are things coming for that 24th degree. Okay, we've got a Chiron trine to this Neptune from the 5th house. No Uranus, no Pluto. Okay. What this is telling me, oh, and then we have Saturn arriving in the 4th. There does seem to be some sort of change with the kids, Kelly. Um, I hate to say this, but the change does seem to be a little nerve-wracking for you. You've probably already felt it. It's probably underway. Some sort of like the kids needing to either move out or like go their own way or like step into some form of independence. Now, this could be as simple as they're graduating high school and going to college next year, but it could also be as complicated as losing a custody battle and your kids going with your spouse. Anywhere in that gamut, it does look like there's some sort of change that shakes up your home and has your kids at some sort of perhaps distance from you. It could even be like they become adolescents, and when we're adolescents, it's not cool to talk to your parents, that kind of thing. And so they pull away a little bit. And I do see, okay, the puberty thing, there it is. I do see that this causes you a bit of grief that they're like in that stage of, and we're always in that as children of our parents, we're always in this place of self-differentiating and furthering the potential of the genetic line in the third dimension. And so It does look like they have stepped into, yeah, thanks for clarifying. It's definitely puberty. They're stepping into this season of their life where they are going to want to create some distance between you and them. I do see for you, it creates some level of distress. But I do want to say this is part of because Saturn is conjunct Mars, which is the department where kids live, the Aries house. I want to tell you that this is going to be good. It's going to mature them. Some of what they are doing as they create this distance between you and them is they're taking the training wheels off of their bike because they're ready to ride it and scrape their knees and get back on under their own steam. So, it's distressing. Let me tell you something. When I got to puberty, I wore my parents out. Oh my gosh. Um, I had them on edge. And not in a bad way. Like I was an excellent student in school, but the shenanigans I got up to outside of school, child, let me tell you. But I turned out okay. Your kids are going to be fine, is where I want to leave you as I look at this. They're going to be better than fine. And as they move through this process, you're going to see that they really grow. Now, where it comes to mom and dad, um, what I'm seeing for them, let me just get back to the natal chart. Mom is moon. Oh, mom and dad sit together here in the chart. Moon, mom, Saturn, father. Mom's got some changes coming. Some big changes. It looks like her health is changing in such a way that you need to shift her home situation next year. So I will say this may mean that you need to bring in some care from outside of the home into the home to assist her. Like she may need some assistance based on the way the chart's set up here. It also may mean that you or dad, like you have to move dad into the home with you, but then that creates tension or stress with mom. It looks like next year is next year and the following, 25 and 26. And I gotta be honest, 27 too. They're big transition years as they it's funny. This is like I'm trying to elder puberty. I was going to say a different word, but I think the word I'm looking for is elder puberty. This is that puberty that people go through when they transition out of midlife and they step into the fullness of their elder years and their energy level, maybe mind and consciousness and cognizance is just not the same as what it used to be, but they still want to be independent. It's like, bro, I'd let you be independent if you could remember to turn off the stove. Like, I can't have you setting your house on fire. I don't care if you're insured. It looks like there's some level of them personally starting to settle into those changes and accept those changes for themselves in such a way where you are going to have to be the advocate for a heightened level of care for them, Kelly. This doesn't look like it's an easy process. It does look like it comes with a level of you needing to make some tough decisions at home where you either need to give up the house or a room in the house or some space or sell a house. It could be their house in order to facilitate this um, next stage. But it does look like next year holds for the parents moving into the next level of facilitating their well-being and most likely with some level of external assistance with Uranus transiting the house of external assistance like hired hands, hired help, speaking to mom first and then dad in a couple years time. Okay. So that's what I have for you, my lovely Kate Bees. I'm just going to keep the tarot portion real quick. Uh, Bull came out sideways. And so this is telling me that Yeah, there is some sort of new beginning, new chapter, new phase, both for the kids and for the parents. But there is something in this, I will say, both as the kids self-differentiate and that you get some assistance with the parents. Thank goodness it's the Fool and it's the Fool upright. This lets me know that as you settle these people that you care for into their next chapters, your next chapter actually includes a lot of freedom, Kelly, a ton of freedom. So, like, don't resist. Like, let the kids do what the kids are going to do. And as soon as you're able to set it up, get the parents what they need, because this is going to allow you some freedom that you need in this season of your life so that you are not, you know, the multi-generational babysitter. Thank you, KBs. Really appreciate it. Kelly K, you're next. If you would go ahead and put your next question there in the chat. Thank you for your patience, Kelly K. I know you made your payment a while ago because I'm doing tarot and astro. Giving everyone just a little bit that much more time because, like I said, my calendar is filling up pretty quickly. Starting to book in December already. I know people need the guidance before we close out this year. So I wanted to give you guys these mini readings. I'm going to do another mini reading probably around the holiday week in November, that last week of November, and perchance like mid-December as well, depending upon how the calendar's looking. So if you haven't booked or if you heard something here today, you're like, damn, I need to ask about that too. You need deeper time. Now's the time to get on my calendar. You can book with me over at kmoonastro.com. If you want to get on the mini reading list tonight, there's only 2 people that I have to read for before it would be your turn. Instructions are up here in this lovely pinned comment. And my moderator is also lovely Kylie here. Thank you, providing instructions of how to play tonight. Would really love to chat with you if you could use that guidance. Great time to jump on the list. Kelly K, it is your turn. Where are you at, my lovely? Oh, thank you for being ready. I love it when my peoples are ready. Oops, that's not what we're trying to do. Okay. After Kelly K, we're going to do you, Julia. So go ahead and get your question ready the way you've seen people do here. As soon as I get to the tarot portion for Kelly K, you can go ahead and paste your information in the chat. Kelly K, Greece, Athens. I'm really curious what winter is like in Greece. Do you still live in Greece? Can you illuminate for us? Would you be willing to share? Okay, this says March 1983. I need to know what day in March 1983, Kelly K. Can you let me know which day? 2:40 a.m. Which day in Greece? And also, when we get into November, December, January, and February in Greece, what's the weather like? I did, Kylie. I got my Light Seers Tarot, my Rider Waite, and I also have um Prisma Vision and the Santa Muerte deck, but I haven't been guided to use either one for the questions yet. Just so far, I've only been guided to use Rider Waite and Light Seers Tarot tonight. Okay, so she's March 6th, 1983, 2:40 a.m. Athens, Greece. Got it. Okay. Okay, we need a timer. How is 2025 in terms of grounding love connection? Ooh, girl, it's about to get real because you got that Gemini 7th house, Cancer. Yeah, I'll tell you. Initiate into the process of sexual purification, 6 years and a half. So much healing. I feel like a shrine. All right, Priestess Kelly, come on now. It's a bit cold, but I still go for swimming. Wow, I'm in Milos and Cyclades. I love that for you, Kelly K. That's awesome. Okay, so Jupiter, opportunity bringer, expansion bringer, headed into the 7th house of commitment, is going to facilitate an opening for things to come into the 3rd dimension, provided there are no other blockages. Checking out your chart. Self-refinement, Saturn conjunct the sun, who's talking to your moon next year. Nobody big, but we do have retrograde Venus and retrograde Juno next year. Okay. Second chance energy. There is a level of a second chance going to show up for you with someone. Venus retrograde is going to be out here in the 3rd house. It does look like that person is going to show up. They haven't already over the course of this year and the union windows from this year. It does look like someone begins to show themselves as a potential for a second chance that moves further than perhaps it went last time, with Jupiter moving into your 7th house. It looks steamy, it looks passionate, it looks like all the yummy things. It also looks like there's a ton of love-related communication that unfolds next year. The whole year actually looks really, really good in love. Once Jupiter hits that 5th degree of Cancer, and let me give you a specific date on that. Actually, there's a couple things I need to give you. Once Jupiter hits that 5th degree of Cancer, yeah. Okay, let's check the Jupiter retrograde dates. Pile. New incognito. Jupiter retrograde dates and degrees. Let's see what's up. Let me make sure this is 2025. Yes. Venus retrograde is 10 degrees Aries. Okay. To 24 degrees Pisces. Jupiter is October 9th. Okay. Okay. 21 degrees Gemini. 11 degrees Gemini. Okay, we're already in the Jupiter retrograde now. The second one isn't until the fall. This is late degrees Cancer. Okay, so that's not going to impact you. Okay, perfect. Let me come back over here. This is really, really good. So once in 12 years, Jupiter graces our 7th house of commitment and partnership and marriage with with opportunity, expansion, and like just growth. And so when that happens once every 12 years, we do have like a once in 12-year opportunity to see our love life take off. I would say for you, this is one of the best years you've probably had in a long time for love. It does look like, especially with Venus and Juno retrograde in the spring, it could come through the hand of somebody you already know, where y'all get a second chance. As I have mentioned, there is a call in your life to be new. And I've said this to a couple of other people. That if you want that second chance, just speaking of other decks, I was guided to use the Santa Muerte deck for you. If you want that second chance, you got to be a new person as much as they do. But sometimes it's just you. You just need to be new enough so that things can't go in the same direction they went before. You just got to be different enough. Flip it that way. Keep this one this way. Okay. Shuffling now. So Kelly K, I feel the second chance coming. Yeah, your intuition is spot on. You're a very intuitive person. Moon, Uranus, Jupiter, and Sagittarius in the 12th house. I'm not surprised that you feel it. Your intuition's spot on. Okay. There we go. Julia, Miss Julia T, if you would like to drop your question in the chat, it's your turn. Calling Julia T. Love to read for you. So let's see. Cards have come out. Oh, yeah. Okay, Five of Swords in reversed and the Ace of Pentacles upright in this deck. So, ooh, bottom of the deck, the Sun. Really love to see it. In the Santa Muerte deck, the Five of Swords shows a couple, and the couple is making their way through treacherous terrain with swords coming at them from all directions. Where in the past a connection has felt like there was a lot of outside complication because of life timing and circumstances or interference. It does look like this particular time around doesn't have that with the Five of Swords in reverse. Ace of Pentacles upright is always something coming into the third dimension in concrete, manifested, physical ways. So this tells me that this is going to show itself in the third dimension as an opportunity, but it's again really incumbent upon you to come to this with an open mind and an open heart without any holdover from the past. You can do that. Sun upright, bottom of the deck is yours. It's a really beautiful energy of two mariachi band players playing their guitar under the sun in a field of sunflowers. It's a really beautiful energy of harmony, and there being a lot of harmony between the two of you. So, enjoy this. Really enjoy this second chance energy that's showing itself for you because it's here. All right. Thank you, Kelly K. Great second question. And if anybody else has a second question, I'm happy to read the second question for you as well. Um, just need to make that payment and I will do your second question. We're now going to read for Julia. Julia's on the list, and then it would be your turn if you would like to jump on the list. The way to do that is make your payment up in the pinned comment at KMoon live there. You'll see my PayPal email address. I'm doing a bit of tarot, a bit of astro, and a bit of channeling where the messages come through tonight. So if you have a question, I'd be honored to answer it for you. And this will give you the opportunity to have some clarity about things going on in your life. So let's just see what's going on here for Lady Julia. Mexico City, Mexico. Thank you. Kylie, you took the words out of my mouth. I literally just opened my mouth to say thank you so much for joining, and I saw it appear in the chat come out of your fingertips. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I appreciate all you guys being here. Okay, so August 8, 7, 1984. Let me ask you, Julia, do you know what time you were born? Let me know what time you were born, and I can read your question for you. Okay. Mm. 6:25 a.m. Thank you. 6:25 a.m. Okay, Julia, get my timer together. Anybody wants a second question, now's the time to get on the list. And if anyone would like a new question, if you're just joining, now is also the time to get on the list. All right, Julia, let's see. Let me set the timer for you, babes. I'm in a relationship of sorts and have a strong pull to stay, but also to go. Ooh, why is there so much stop and go in this relationship? What is to come in this relationship? It's a great question. Okay, let me just ask you a question, Julia. Can you please share the date, time, and month you're meeting the person. That would be really helpful. If you know when, like, the meeting date and time and the location, that would help me out a lot. Even if it's just online, just give me where you happened to be. I don't need the full online story about the chat room and who else was in there and what game y'all were playing. Just date, time, and location y'all met. If you were online, then just tell me where you happened to be at that time. First meeting, not a date of significance. I need the first meeting. Okay. Mm, 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 mm. While you're typing that out, I'm just going to go ahead and draw your tarot. We may do your tarot portion first, Julia. While you look that up, I'm going to do your tarot portion and then we're going to come back to your astrology portion when you give me that information. So I'm going to use this Light Seers Tarot deck for you. So we're talking online on Facebook, May 2024. You were in Newport. Okay, no problem. Okay. I had a feeling it was Uranian. Part of this is because Uranus is playing such a significant role in your chart, and it's a significant role of when y'all met. But let's go ahead and see. Yeah, Jupiter Uranus conjunction square your sun. Opposite your natal Mars. Mars is governor of the house of faith. Yeah, you go in and out in your beliefs about this person and what it can be. And the connection is manifesting in accordance with your belief systems. If you can stabilize your thoughts and your belief systems, you're going to find that the connection itself stabilizes. But because you go in and out of, I want this person, and then this sort of like doubt about who they are and is it going to work and how, like, if you come out of chaos mentally, you're going to find that this connection stabilizes physically. Cards that have come out for you about why this connection is, how did you put it, what was the phrase you used? um Stop and start, stop and go. Three of Pentacles reversed. That lets me know clearly about the stop part. Y'all be working on it and then you're not working on it. And then you're working on it and then you're not working on it. Seven of Wands upright. You've been patient. I do see that there has been for you, like you've really done some work going within to try to figure this out, trying to understand. And then Five of Wands upright. You've also engaged it. I see, like when it has been in, like you've not held it, like you've stepped in. What's interesting about this combination is that, especially in the Seven of Wands upright in this particular deck, this deck shows that the woman's solar plexus is very activated, even though she seems to be in a meditative position. That would be about the third eye and the kind of sixth chakra there. In this card, she's activated in the solar plexus, the will center. And so some of this tells me that some of this for you is about learning how to release control. I'm specifically being shown that in this connection with this person, you've spent some time trying to figure out, well, if they need to heal specifically is the question that I'm hearing come through for you. You've been trying to figure out what they need for their healing so that they can be whole enough to date you, to be with you. Um, the message coming out of this is to kind of stop trying to like take your fingers off their healing steering wheel. Let them work their process, But then the second message has a lot to do with really like taking a look and seeing how not the person, but the connection itself is mirroring your inner turmoil about your own life. The person may not be mirroring it as a person, but the state of the relationship, it's on, it's off, it goes, it stops, it's passionate, and then it's nothing, it's on fire, and then it's underwater. This sort of like what you described as stop and go. I'm also being shown with that Three of Pentacles reversed. You have some level of that going on with your projects and your commitment to your own passions in your life. And there's this overarching need to stabilize Julia, like to come out of living on the trapeze and start learning how to live on the ground. As you stabilize Julia and Julia's frequency and Julia's energy, and you start to channel your passion in consistent ways, this is really going to facilitate the frequency for the connection itself to stabilize as a projection of your own identity. Okay, so that's the tarot portion, but I will go ahead now and look at your astrology portion. So let me come down here. You'll have to let me know if that tarot portion and channeled portion resonates, but this says y'all met in May, right, of 2024. Okay, so that period of time featured a Jupiter-Uranus conjunction here connected with Venus. Uranus is lightning energy. It's quantum. It skips steps. What showed itself to me as I was looking at that tarot is the 3, the 5, and the 7, which there's a skip every 2 numbers, right? I think it was the 7 of Wands upright, the 3 of Pentacles reversed, and then the 5 of Wands upright or upright. Yes. And so 3, 5, and 7, that's the quantum energy of Uranus. Uranus skipped steps. And at the time you met this person, that Uranus was square your Venus. And so it was the energy of this is some level of like super rich, like activation. You know that feeling like when you hang your head out the window when the car is going like 100 miles an hour down the freeway, and it is intense and it is gratifying, and it's like you can't breathe, but you're taking the deepest breaths of your life. Like, this is what this looks like to me, like meeting this person would have felt like. And so much of this, in order for this to get stable, and thank goodness Saturn was aspecting this configuration, and Saturn as ancient ruler of your 7th house of commitment, Uranus as modern day ruler. This combo is saying that the only way this grounds is when you ground. And so some of this is about cutting out distraction that causes you to be over there and then over here and then halfway in and then halfway out. Same thing with your projects and the direction of your life and your career. But also with Saturn retrograde here, there's a small little bit of cleanup that you're doing at the tail end of this year to really weed out, like this is reading like closing doors to your past, Julia, where you've let back doors be open. I mean, everybody does it, where there's just, you know how sometimes people don't end things correctly with exes? Like, it's not a clear ending. Y'all just kind of drift and then you go in other directions and you both kind of like, oh, I guess it's over. Like, this is talking about cleaning that up. Ground yourself, and this connection grounds in the 3rd dimension. That's the message I have for you, Lady Julia. Thank you for letting me read for you. If you want to go deeper, you can always book a relationship reading and we'll have a look at things inside of your chart, your natal chart. But if that's not what you want to do, it's totally okay. There's mini readings. That's what we get to do. Okay. So Julia was the last person on the list for right now. I may go shorter. This is a short night for me. It's rare that I only do like 3 hours. Sometimes I'll go like 4, 5, or 6 hours, but One of the things that I've been guided to work on is a little bit more balance. And so unless you want to jump on the list right now, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up for the evening and give myself the benefit of having a shorter mini reading. Mm, yeah, it would be your turn. Does anybody have questions for the collective? I'm going to go ahead and read for my moderator, Kylie, now. Thank you so much, Kylie, for being here. I heard through the grapevine that you have a question for me. What would you like me to look at, lovely? Happy to look at whatever you need. Just let me know. And thank you once again for being here. Does anybody have any collective questions you would like me to answer? Like questions about vibes and energies, what's going on for Twin Flames, or what's going on for the Ascending Collective? Anything like that? Speaking of balance, Julia, that's funny. That's funny. I just read for you and had to say that to you because that's definitely something I have been working on. My version of that is just not being at extremes in any one direction, like financial extremes, work or sleep or diet extremes. Um, just releasing the need to push to my very limit and instead give myself a lot of bandwidth and space and breathing room. That has been my personal version of that, but yours doesn't look like it's about extremes as much as it was about a year and a half from July, so around this time next year. Kylie, you want to look at your chart or you want to just look collectively at November of next year? Where are we looking and what are we looking for? Yeah, like it's this whole thing, Saturn, Neptune square Jupiter, Jupiter opposite, Mercury retrograde. Okay, yeah, just drop your chart details for me, Kylie, and I'll have a look and we'll do you some tarot too, hon. Um, but yeah, there's and the other thing from an extremes perspective, like one of the interesting things about me that I've had to really grow around in the arena of friendships is I for a long time, and this is, a trauma response that I've healed a lot around. Like I had a lot of like one-sided friendships. It's not because the other people were like mean or takers or anything like that. It was because I didn't know how to take up space. I didn't know how to live in a way that included me in everything that I did. And so I had a lot of friendships where I would be doing a lot of pouring and listening and coaching and guiding and being that ear. And honestly, it wore me the fuck out. And so it's funny because I mentioned it earlier to someone who has a Pluto square sun thing going on in their chart. And I said, you're going through this metamorphosis. And so you're not going to be able to do the things you've always done before. You're going to have to do new things. When Pluto squared my sun, it was the same thing. And it was like all of a sudden, nothing fit for me. Nothing felt right. It's like all of a sudden my power got turned on. Um, And in that way, I found for myself, like, yeah, I didn't know what kind of friendships I could be in, but I knew I couldn't be in the friendships I was in because I had taught people how to be one-sided with me. I had taught people how to not make space for me. And they were used to that. They were used to that's the okay, yeah, I love Kay because Kay listens to everything I have to say and she stays on the phone with me until I want to get off the phone. Meanwhile, like my tasks weren't getting done, like I was falling behind in certain areas of my life, like and so there's always these periods of time, astrologically speaking, where if we have any sort of like habit that we have cultivated or developed that just it's unbecoming of ourselves as gods incarnate, we go through these periods of correction. There's been a lot of that since 2020. 2021 was a big year of correction. There were huge pockets of correction this year. um and there will be more next year as well. So bringing it back to Kylie, let's go ahead and let's look at November of 2025. Okay. But yeah, these pockets of correction are really meant for us to help live more of our divinity while we're breathing, not only have access to it when we drop the body. So when they show up and when they come in, it is a great time to just lean into whatever the correction is showing you. It's like time to let go. The more you can invite your spirit to just, well, not your spirit, but your soul. So the emotions, the mind, and the body. The more you can invite those three to recognize what's changing and say yes. And just honor the time that it was. Like that was a season in my life. That K was a good K. She brought me a lot of benefit, but I'm not that woman anymore. I honor her, I forgive her, I cherish her, and I release her. The more you can lean into that level of beingness with yourself and give yourself that grace, the faster your life changes in a really positive way. So, okay. I don't know why I said that, but hopefully it helped somebody who needed to hear that. Okay, Kylie, so what are we looking at next year at this time? Because there's a lot going on in your chart, boo. A lot of things with your money. Your Saturn return is at its peak. Um, a lot of things with your money. We got a Chiron retrograde over the south node. Somebody's coming in who's bringing some healing energy with them for you. We got a lot of love energy hitting this seventh house. There's definitely somebody, love-wise who seems to show up. Looks like a bit of a wish fulfilled for you. This person, it looks like this person also may have some be of the cash money millionaire ilk, given the Jupiter is also the governor of your second house, but it also looks like they know how to treat you. Like it looks like they have some level of like recognition of your worth and value to them. Even if they're not rich, they recognize their richness because they get to interact with you. They feel very blessed to have you in their life romantically. It looks really good, Kylie. It looks really good, sis. It's a period of time where it looks like there is you stepping into a lot of your power when it comes to your money. I don't know what you do. Please don't be in these streets twerking. Um, but if hey, listen, you gotta do what you gotta do. Um, no judgments from me, but stay safe. But it does look like there is a financial up level for you next year in a really, really nice way. By the time we get to November. So ride that pony, girl. She said she was trying to look at relationship. Yeah, well, it's here. It definitely shows it's here. So what I was saying to one of the recent people that I read for, Jupiter's stepping into your seventh house of commitment, marriage, and partnership for a once in 12-year stay. When Jupiter arrives in this position, it brings expansion, growth, and opportunity to the marriage house. So the potential that you could meet someone that is marriage material, marriage ready, is really high. But there's also a real call on your side to you personally be in a place where you're clear, like if you want marriage, actually want marriage, be congruent and aligned with what that would mean, what that would look like the day in and day out, like smelling their farts, y'all cleaning the bathroom and the kitchen together, folding laundry. It's not all like date nights and roses. There's also real life happening in between. That person farts, that person snores, like all the things. And so it's, if you want the fullness of marriage and a full life with someone, some of this is really about your recognition and stepping into your personal power about what it means to bring your full self to the table in that capacity. Um, I like to see it. Yeah, there's definitely relationship energy here for you, for real, girl. Let's take a peek. Who could it be, Kylie? I don't know. Let's look at the cards and find out. But yeah, it looks like maybe November to November 2025 to 2026. You got a nice love transit here. And you're already in the energy of it with Jupiter transiting through your fifth house, preparing to move through your sixth house next year. A lot of positive energy for love for you. But you're gonna have to be willing. Are you willing? Is Kylie willing to play? What's in store for Kylie in the world of relationship? Okay, now we just had them cards, so I know I just didn't shuffle good enough. What's in store for Kylie in the world of relationship? Mm. Of course. Kylie, do you have a Light Seers tarot deck at home? You can like look at the visuals of these cards for yourself. Oh boy. Mm. These cards are funny and they are so you, sis. They are so you. Okay, so we have the Knight of Swords upright, Four of Wands reversed, Chariot upright. Um, so if you have a Light Seers tarot, we see the Knight of Swords upright. In this particular deck, the Knight of Swords is running away from the viewer of the card. Girl, I had my epiphanies. I apologize. So proud of you. That's awesome. Really, really inspired by that. Good job. Good job. Now there's a cleaner slate, right? You clean up your side of the street. There's less stuff between the two people. Knight of Swords upright, the character, the person, the knight on this particular card is running away from the viewer and running toward a motorcycle so that the motorcycle's facing away from the viewer so that they can get even further from the person who's looking at them. This is telling me that there's some running energy going on here. Um, I'll be honest, girl, and it's yours. You were running. You were the one running. Then we see this Four of Wands reversed. This is telling me that there's still some level of peace to be made for you around the construct and concept of commitment. It's here, it's available for you. But when it comes to that day in and day out, now I don't know if you really want to be married, but for people who want to be married, they do need to find a way to clean the slate, have forgiveness, clear the decks around the construct of either wife or husband or spouse or partner and what that means to them. It was a real epiphany for me. Speaking of epiphanies, it was a real epiphany for me when I realized, like, oh, I don't have a problem with love. I also don't have a problem with my person. My hang up is about the construct of marriage itself. Like, I have a real beef with that construct. I have to clean that up if it's an experience that I want to have as part of my union, right? Other people have realized that they have an issue with love. They feel like love isn't there for me. Love always comes with strings attached. Love has always let me down. They have to clean up their relationship to love. In your case, this is looking more like you need to clean up your relationship to the construct of commitment in marriage and what that means, to let somebody be that close to you. But in the good news, Chariot is upright here, and Chariot upright shows in this particular deck, the two horses, instead of the chariot moving away like the Knight of Swords person from the viewer, these horses are coming straight at me. And the driver is just like so excited, like he's out on top of the chariot, like trying to like direct the show, like eager to get there. And so this is telling me that relationship is in fact moving forward for you. It is coming in, it is on its way. Like it's already en route. Like the partnership has like opportunity, it's left the station. It's not at you yet as a destination, but it's already coming towards you. You probably already feel it. This is telling me that it's really important to release the baggage you have with stability with a person. I'm also hearing in your case, I don't know a whole lot about your family dynamic, but this is telling me that this is for you. Like, you have some stuff around the way your parents either treated each other, treated love, or treated other partners, and the way you saw them behave and interact, and the way that impacted and influenced you in your developmental years. This is telling me that there's some specific stuff, and this is a channeled messages for you. There's some stuff you have to release around that, like their storyline, their marriage, their partnerships, their habits and behaviors around commitment. They don't have to be yours. They're not your legacy. They're not your inheritance. You can write your own story in love, Kylie. And so that's what this is telling me for you, that you have this opportunity to, like, where the runner energy in you was like, I don't want shit that looks like what they have, because that was absolute trash. Where that energy in you has like caught a flinch response, remembrance of what you saw growing up. This is telling me that everything that reminds you of that is not that. And you have new skills now. You have new consciousness now. You have new abilities now. You don't have to respond the way you did when you were 6, 7, 8, and 9, 10, and 11. I'm hearing that 6 to 11 specifically was kind of like when it came to your programming of love and relationship and marriage and partnership, those 5 years in your life specifically were ugly. Like you saw like humanity in a way that you just don't want to see it again. And so there's this flinch response every time something reminds you of it that has you go running. And this right here is telling me that you're ready to stop that so that you can get this 4 of Wands out of reverse and get it upright, because the relationship, it's here, it's in your field, it's on its way to you. Okay. So good job. I love the growth here. This is awesome. Bottom of the deck, we have the Strength card for you. And in this deck, it's a woman who is half lion, half woman. And this talks to me about your beauty taming your inner beast. So you have to let me know how that resonates, but those are the messages I got for you, love. Thank you so much for being an amazing moderator. It's always a pleasure to read for you and to have you here. And I love seeing love here for you. I love it, Kylie. You deserve it. We all deserve it. And you can have it, I guess is what I really mean to say. Let's see what you're saying here in the chat. I was trying to look at relationship. KB says, thank you, Kay. You are so welcome. Kylie says, girl, I had my epiphanies. I apologize. Yes. Good for you. It's been an adjustment, learning to not be alone. Yeah, I know. Take your time. You'll get there, and be communicative. I learned that it was more my fault. In ending the past relationship. Yeah. That's good learning. That's good growth. You'll never not know what you know now again. You'll have this lesson forever. You'll never do the same things you did before. You'll be able to do different things now because you can see from a different vantage point now. So that's great. I mean, that's what this energy was these last few lunations. I think I called it corrective action and the all signs for the Aries, the Scorpio new moon. Corrective action is like when we recognize, oh, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to do this. Let me correct that. And you take action to create the correction. So, really well done. Great use of the lunar energy. Great use of your own epiphanies. Way to take action with the Mars retrograde. Like you're really setting yourself up for that love to come in and stay. So well done, Kylie. Okay, my lovelies, that's all I have. Since there's nobody else on the list, I'm going to go ahead and stop here. It was a lot of fun to read for you guys. Thank you so much for being members on the main channel or subscribers on the main channel. Thank you so much for kicking it with me tonight. It's been a lot of fun. And if you need some help and support, find me over at kmoonastro.com. There's 1 half-hour reading left this coming Friday. And there are some sales coming up that I'm going to be doing for you guys, where there will be 30% off parent-child, parent and two-child, the 1 hour relationship, and the 1 hour personal readings. But they will be 24-hour only sales. The coupon code will go out to the private list first. And then I'll post it on the main YouTube channel the day of. So if you know you want to lock in the savings and get yourself a reading, hey, I told you how to do it. Be on the private list. And that way we'll get your reading scheduled before we close out 2024. It's been an amazing year with you guys. I've learned a lot and grown a lot, and it sounds like all of you have too. Can't wait to do it again next year. And we will talk in the near future. Take great care.